All right, we're going live. Waiting on Reggie to come on here.
All right, what's up, man?
Hey, what's happening, Reg? Do I got you muted?
No, I go on mute so that the background noise or nothing comes in.
Oh, okay. All right.
You talking, always go on mute.
All right. So, hey, what's going on? How's everybody doing tonight? Reggie's kid won their game. Apparently, it was a blowout.
Man, it was bad for the other kids. It was real bad. I was proud of them, man, because they've been losing the last two games, but they've been getting closer and closer. And today they blew the other team off the wall. The other team didn't even score.
Right on. Fantastic. Hey, this is gonna be a open discussion. So, the link is in the chat. Anybody that wants to jump on here, jump on. And we'll have some discussions. I got a book here by Howard Freeman called The UCC Connection: How to Free Yourself from Legal Tyranny. A lot of this stuff is what I use when I ain't cutting them no slack. So the let me see how I can pull that up.
If you want trying to put it on the screen.
Yeah.
So when you have a tab, so go to one of your tabs, open one of those, and then you can go on your searches. And then when you're ready to present it, hit present, and then present, hit share screen, and you'll select the tab that you have the information on.
All right. So, all right. Share screen. Where's that at?
Yeah, under the present button, right next to settings, it's present.
Oh, okay. Got you.
And right there.
Present.
And then select the tab.
Go slides of PDFs or share screen?
Go to share screen.
All right. Damn, it just went away. Hold on. Let me pull this up real quick.
All right. You got it?
All right. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, you good.
You still hear me?
Yeah, you good.
All right. So these are the non-lawyer maxims of law right here. Yo, when I first started doing this,
you didn't get it on the screen yet. Was you trying to put it on the screen?
It ain't up on the screen?
Nuh-uh. You got it.
Yeah.
You got to click the tab. So hit present, share screen, and you should see the tab you're going to open. You see it?
Yeah, it say entire screen.
Yeah, and then press the tab. You got to click on the tab that you see. Click that tab, and then you should be able to open it. Yeah, share screen. You should see multiple tabs if you got the tab open. Click on the tab and then hit share. There you go.
All right, I got you.
Oh wait, no, you hit the wrong one. You hit your YouTube tab. You hit the wrong one. So cancel that one out. Hit stop sharing.
Yeah.
Now, when you go back in there, did you open the tab? You should see on your screen whatever you're looking at. and that lets you know you got the additional tab open. So when you hit that, you want to hit shared screen and be on the Chrome tabs, not the Windows tab. Go to Chrome tabs. You see at the top it says Chrome tabs. You have your options. Choose what to share. You got Chrome tabs, Windows, or entire screen. Not entire screen. Go to Chrome tabs.
Oh, geez, this is getting ridiculous.
Now, the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Share screen. Okay, share screen, and then it says what? It says Microsoft Edge tab, Window tab, or entire screen.
So you might be using Microsoft Edge, right?
Yeah.
So keep it on the Edge, and then it should have whatever tab you have open. You should be able to find that tab of where you're looking at your information. Is your information coming off the internet or from your computer?
No, from my computer.
All right, so it's a file. So maybe click Windows tab, and you should see it under there.
Okay, yeah, there it is. Fantastic. All right.
All right, now try it from there.
All right. Open that up all the way. Y'all still hear me?
Yeah, you still good.
Okay, cool. Okay, so one of the things that I ran into when I first started doing this was judges wanting to throw me out of court, wanting to charge me with contempt, throw me in jail for 30 days and all this stuff for practicing law without a license. Finally I asked him, I said, well, what does a law license look like? And the judge said, well, you can see me after court. Okay. So I said, what does a law license look like? And he showed me his diploma from college. And I said, I don't understand what that means. I got one of those too. Just, mine is in philosophy while yours is in law. It's the same damn thing with a bachelor's of arts. So what the hell is that? Anyways, he had me leave his office since I was asking questions he couldn't answer. Now, but so here's the non-lawyer maxims of law, and all of these have court cases and Supreme Court rulings and whatnot to go with them, right? So this is all case law. So the first one is members of groups who are competent non-lawyers can assist other members of a group achieve the goals of the group in court without being charged with unauthorized practice of law. See NAACP v. Button, United Mine Workers of America v. Gibbs, and Johnson v. Avery, 1969. Also, be mindful. So, and I'll talk to y'all about this in a little bit. 1838 is where a lot of stuff changed, and I'll let y'all know why. So, moving on. Number 2, no state shall convert a liberty into a license and charge a fee therefore. Murdoch v. Pennsylvania. So, the deal with licensing is, if you obtain a license, you're requesting to conduct yourself within a privilege, right? And so, privileges and benefits are what slaves accept from their masters. All right, privileges and benefits. Slaves ain't got no rights. Moving on, number 3, the practice of law cannot be licensed by any state or state of state. Right. So what does that mean? Well, what is a state and what is a state? Right. So Schwer v. Board of Examiners, there's another footnote on there. That when the judges gave their opinion after the case, that says there are the court recognizes all the differences between states, the many states, and states of states, right? So a state is what state you're in. right? So what state are you in? Are you in a state of war? Are you in a state of peace? Are you in a state of incompetence or what, right? And then you've got the mini states, which is Texas, California, Nevada, Oklahoma, Alabama, Delaware, whatever, right? And then you've got the states of states, state of Texas, state of California, state of Nevada, state of Delaware. Those are the corporate entities. Moving on, number 4, the practice of law is an occupation of common right. Sims v. Arons. Litigants can be assisted by unlicensed laymen during judicial proceedings. Brotherhood of Trainmen v. Virginia. And then there could be no sanction or penalty imposed upon one because of his exercise of constitutional rights. Sheriff v. Cullen. So this really helped me out, and help to help me to recognize the power that I have. All right. We'll minimize that real quick. All right. So the truth of the matter is the only reason you need a license to practice law is to be involved in a privilege. And why do you need a privilege? Well, that's not common law, right? That's not constitutional law. You got to know which jurisdiction you're in, and you've got to demand the jurisdiction that applies to you. So, when you go in there to say arraignment and they ask you to stand up, now which way do you want to go? Do you want to go commercial or do you want to go common law? Right? Commercial, you're going to be operating under statute merchant, understanding that the only reason you're there is to do business, and it's all a tax issue. All right. And that's going to be in the public, even though it's not public law, right? Because you're doing business with a private corporation that is operating within the public. I understand it's very convoluted, and having an understanding of public versus private will help you out with that a good bit, and understanding how a private corporation functions in the public. A private corporation functions in the public. A private governmental corporate entity functions in the public only under fraud, and that's it. So, since 2008, every single court is a commercial court unless you exert your rights, because that's a maximum law right there. Is the one a man who does not exert his rights has none. All right. So when you go in there, this is a script I use. They say, they call my name. If I'm gonna go at it from a common law standpoint, I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna start walking towards the judge, and I'm gonna say, I'm here under special appearance, Judge. Right off the bat, I'm gonna challenge jurisdiction. Calling for a Article 3 common law court, and then kind of see what he says. Usually they're going to look at me, or they're kind of going to look sideways, and then I'll let them know that I'm there in propria persona, sui juris in propria persona, just soli, right? So sui juris.
Oh, break that down.
So sui juris is by one's own right, right? In propria persona, that's stating that you're there. My dogs won't leave me alone. Y'all go on downstairs now. Go on. Mama's cooking supper. How come you ain't standing there bothering her? Go on. Anyways, so in propria persona, that means that you're there as the proper person, right? you're not there as a juristic entity, right? You're not there as a person as defined by law with the 78 different terms that define it. None of them are a living man and woman. In propria persona, and that's going to pull it out of in rem proceedings right there. They have to prove in personam jurisdiction then, and they can't because all of these courts are in rem proceedings. All right, it's what it is it's a case against a thing. All right, so in propria persona, so then just solely of the land, right? You are on the land as yourself, as a living man, not as a corporate entity, as a thing, as a slave, as a citizen, as uh, whatever, a taxpayer, whatever the 78, land or lands, property, etc., 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 that could be a person. Um, Persons have no rights. Citizens have civil liberties. Um, Otherwise, they're able to apply for privileges and benefits as long as they are considered of good behavior. Free men have rights, and those are the only ones: free men and free women, the people. All right, and then you let them know that you are on the land, that you, in other words, the true law of the land, common law. You're not going to be subjected to maritime admiralty jurisdiction, statute merchant jurisdiction, commercial jurisdiction, a military tribunal, et cetera, et cetera. And that's how you go at it. Going at it commercially is a little more advanced because you have to understand um, the tax issues and how to go about that in order to, you need to force them into a corner that way by letting them know that as a private banker you need to balance your ledgers. Anyways, I'm gonna pull this down right quick. I want to know where everybody is. I'll be jumping on here.
Yeah, no, you gotta just keep rolling because sometimes you may not get people, but that's because you got to get yourself in the algorithm. So that's why you got to start doing more and more lives.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why I left it up to you to put out the word. Anyways.
Yeah, no, you got to keep once you keep running because we could have simulcast, but you had Hyphy up in there. Just keep running. People eventually find it.
So the UCC connection, how to free yourself from legal tyranny. There's a whole lot to this book. It's not a very big book. This is it, right? But it has a lot of information in it. So first, let's go under UCC 1308. And this is how you're going to reserve your rights under common law, right? So UCC 1308.
Yeah, there you go. You got Pittsburgh T out there. What's up, Pittsburgh?
Hey, what's going on, T? The use of the words without prejudice, UCC 1308, in connection with signatures indicates that you've reserved your common law right not to be compelled to perform under any contract you did not enter into knowingly, voluntarily, or intentionally, and do not accept the liability associated with the compelled benefit of any unrevealed contract or commercial agreement. See, so these courts are acting under presumptions, assumptions, and color of law. All right. So what is color of law? All right. Anything that's colorable is basically it could be it. So codes and policies, ordinances, those all have the force of law without being law because the government has the monopoly on violence, right? So those laws are colorable, and being that whoever's enforcing that law or whoever's making a judgment on that law can decide how it applies. They can interpret it to be whatever they want it to be at the time, right? So even if it's written down within the code stating that a Class C misdemeanor is not crime, they can interpret it as being crime or whatever. But, here's something else. If there's any of these things that they're saying is law, any of these codes, any of these regulations, I'm in there, I say, okay, so, the prosecutor here, counsel, is saying that is claiming that I have violated a law. Can they please tell me? Oh, well, that's Texas statutory code, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, will the honorable judge please direct counsel to provide me with that enactment clause? They ain't gonna do it because there ain't no freaking enactment clause. It ain't a law. All right. So if there's no enactment clause, then who does it apply to? It applies to the public. And who have we said the public is? The public is the municipal corporation that is acting in the public arena. So that's who it applies to. That's the codes, the regulations, et cetera, et cetera. Those apply to the corporate municipality. They don't apply to you. But you got to make your status and standing known. You've got to stand on your square and don't move from it. Don't be bullied from it. And like these jackasses last time, I'm going in there under the pretense of under common law. This shit don't apply to me. But then I started quoting the various codes, regulations, et cetera, rules of procedure that they weren't following or that they were outside of. And so here comes the prosecuting attorney talking about, oh, now you're starting to mix stuff up. No, I'm not. I'm letting you know what you are bound by, because that doesn't apply to me, but it does apply to you. Now hand over that FARA paperwork. Foreign Agents Registration Act.
And then break that down again for the folks.
All right. So the Foreign Agents Registration Act of 1949, it requires any foreign agent or any foreign entity who is doing business in the United States of America to register with the United States Attorney General as a foreign agent. All right. All of these lawyers and these attorneys, bar card holding attorneys who they claim to be licensed attorneys, all right, are members of the Bar Association. What's the Bar Association? Bar Association is the British Accredited Regency. The British Accredited Regency is a subcharter corporation of the Crown Incorporated. So it's out of England. And so all these lawyers that have taken an oath to the Bar Association are required to register as foreign agents. If they're not, then what they're doing is they are masquerading as government officials. A foreign agent masquerading as a government official. Now, you're not ever going to hear them admit that, but it's a fact. They're going to dismiss. You start talking about them doggone, where's your FARA paperwork? And you know your shit when you go in there talking your shit, knowing your shit, and they try to run over, when you go in there into court at first, you kind of want to act like you're half dumb. You want to ask a lot of questions. Asking questions starts to box them into a corner. All right. If they still want to run over you, that's when you put your fucking clown suit on and you take it to their ass. So when you start talking about, Foreign Agents Registration Act, and hey, where's your FAR paperwork? I need to inspect it for authenticity and to ensure that it is up to date and correct before we can continue. They're going to dismiss that case so fast, they're probably going to have the bailiff throw you out of court. Because they can't have that kind of stuff on the record. I just read Brandon's shit. You reading it?
Yeah, I see this.
Anyways, but really, I'd like people to come on and start talking. So,
yeah, there's a link in the chat. Yeah, you put a link in. Yeah, the link in the chat.
Yeah. So, what prompted this live was I watched a portion of the Friday Night Conspiracies where Reggie Owens and who else was on there? Deuce and who else?
Steph. That was Steph. Who was that? Steph and Foodie, the young lady.
Oh, okay. And so I was looking over some of the court paperwork that y'all were looking at, and I said, man, this motherfucker right here didn't even call me, say nothing. All right, because I'm looking at words, and the legal definition of these words is not what the common definition is. And that's another thing you could do. I ain't never done this, but you could go in there, you could hold up a Webster's New World Dictionary and hold up Black's Law and say, which one we using?
All right, get into what you want to talk about on there. Anybody want to jump on the panel, click the link.
Maybe they don't want to jump on.
No, you gotta give them time. Or you might have to drop a new link. Hold on, let me see if let me exit out on YouTube and go into and see if that link is still there. But go ahead.
Here, I can drop it right now.
All right, yeah, that'll work.
All right. So, B's on. Add the stage.
Brandon and motherfucking building. What's up?
What up, Tex? What up, Reg? Hey, Tex.
What's up, babe?
Hey, just so you know, Reggie is not smart enough to come up with a show like that. That's me and Deuce show. He didn't understand what you were saying. That's me and Deuce show. Just so you know. Planned and produced by yours truly. You think Reg would go through the FBI files and look at that type of stuff on his own? No. Reg is a Democrat. He bleed blue, liberal blue, out his pinky toe. That's Reggie. Salute to everybody though. That's my brother though, but he still I'm trying to bring him around. So that show, he didn't know no better. We produced that show, like on the fly, really. All of that stuff I just know offhand because I'm an intelligent man. I'm trying to rub off on Reggie. So that's what that was.
Man, I'm just here
trying
to
rub off on Reggie too. If there's enough of them, I don't know. Maybe we pull a kick door operation, fucking throw a pillowcase over his head, drag him out, and then make him understand.
Like Drop Squad, like the movie. You remember the movie Drop Squad, Reg?
Yeah, I think I see that shit.
Yeah, that's what we need to do to you.
Man, that shit gonna end up being used on y'all. Get y'all out of some of this crazy conspiracy shit.
Well, I mean, but I'm prepared for it. See, I have a bunch of weapons strategically placed around the house, and I have a sectors of fire drawn up in case I have to shoot through a wall. I know where to shoot so that I don't hit anybody else who might be in a room. You got to be prepared, Reg.
Oh, always. Don't worry, I'm prepared.
Man, you ain't prepared for shit. When you driving around California, you got to put your fucking gun in a fucking case with the fucking clip separated. Fuck that punk shit. We live in Texas. I got all kind of shit down here, boy. All kind of shit. You fuck with us, you gonna die. I'm just telling you. That's just how it goes.
See, he going back to
that's why we gotta respect each other, Reg, down here. That's why when we see each other, we say good morning. How you doing?
Yeah, yes, sir. No, sir.
Hey,
that's right.
Let me go back to that when he talked about my guns being put in cases. That's because I was going into that museum and I knew I couldn't go inside. I knew they'll do a check, and if I got pulled over by the
saying a pussy ass blue state. I go anywhere I want with this motherfucker.
Man,
anywhere.
Hey, Brandon, there's as many guns out in California as there is in Texas.
It is not. They ain't open like mine.
And guess what? The population out here is probably 3 times bigger than y'all's. There's a lot of
people. We'll mash y'all. We'll mash y'all.
No, y'all wouldn't.
But that also goes back to the mindset, y'all, right? So are you a man or are you not, right? So, this would be my question if I go to that checkpoint and they're going to do a search or they're going to do a check or whatever. And I say, oh, is this a constitutional checkpoint? Well, the state of California, that's not what I asked. I don't give a flying fuck about the state of California and have my Dun & Bradstreet number ready.
That's right a fact. God damn it. Say it again, Tex.
Have your motherfucker have fucking the state of California's EIN. Oh, the corporate state of California? Well, that's not where I'm at. I'm not in the state of California. I'm in California. The Republic of California.
Get your motherfucking ass up out of here.
They can say whatever they want. They ain't gonna move me.
Well, I'm gonna have to bring your ass down to that.
I ain't gonna lie, Tex. I ain't gonna lie. They'll move me, Tex. They'll move me and Reggie.
That's what. But I better drive, otherwise they think I've been kidnapped.
Hey, they're gonna walk right to your side. They're gonna be like, hey, sir, excuse me. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Is this man forcing you to say all these things? Anyways, but yeah, so if you got no contracts outstanding, they can't do shit because the people are only governed through consent. That's maritime admiralty law. That's statute merchant law. That's commercial law. You can't do nothing without a contract. And by virtue of the Constitution, the only law higher than constitutional law or common law is that of contract law, right? Because that's what two men do. Two men contract with each other, and you got to be honorable. If you say you're going to perform, then you got to perform. All right. But here's the deal with these motherfucking unilateral contracts on these fucking traffic citations. Let me tell you something. All right. You sign that traffic citation, sign it like this. UCC 1308 without prejudice, without recourse, and then put your name up underneath it, and then put on there signed under duress by virtue of threats of kidnapping and imprisonment, or arrest and confinement, whatever you want to say, and then say, there you go, sir, and then forget about it. See if them motherfuckers
they're gonna take Reggie black ass to jail. And they're gonna take Reggie black ass right to jail. Might even slap his ass, might even bump his goddamn head on the way getting in the police car just for wasting my time.
Hey, you gotta worry about me trying to do this shit.
Nevada's a shitty place, man. And Las Vegas. So not the last time I was there. The last time I was there was in 2015, I think, Reg, but I was there in 2012. And I was heading to the finals with the rodeo secretary, and we was running a little late from the South Point, so she kind of mashing on it a little bit. She going over the speed limit. Whoop whoop, here come the lights. They put and so she waits until where she could pull over, and this motherfucker come out there screaming and hollering and carrying on. And I said, man, what the fuck's your problem, dude? And Tracy Prescott, she's the secretary. She said, I'm just trying to find a safe place to pull over. And he says, no, when I turn on the siren, when I turn on the lights, you gotta stop right there. I said, cool, let's go back. I said, Tracy, pull out in the middle of fucking traffic. Fuck him. And anyways, then he
don't try that at home, Reggie. Don't you ever do that, Reggie. Don't you ever ask the police in their life what the fuck is the problem.
Never worry about me trying none of this shit. Like I say, I tune in, man. You ain't gotta worry about me trying that shit.
We read too many cases last night of Negroes getting strung up thinking they was tough and thinking they knew laws and shit. Law your ass on the end of that rope.
Hey, but no, I ain't gonna lie. If a cop got out of line, then I'll push that shit.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
Brandon,
You be pussy like me. No, Brandon, you pussy like me, bro.
No, Brandon,
see, I'm gonna tell you why you gotta be pussy like me.
No, hey, them Texas whites then got Brandon in fear and put in line. Look, I had one incident. Let me say you this shit. This the one incident I had because I don't have many experiences with the police like that. But when I was out here I'm heading to the VFW because they supposed to be doing one of them claim things for me and shit. So when I'm heading down there, I'm going eastbound on the street called Desert Inn to go get on the freeway.
Hold on, what claim did they got for you at the beer joint, Reggie?
No, at the VFW, these fools supposed to try to handle the case. They recommend them, and it was a waste of my fucking time. They ain't do a goddamn thing for me. Yeah, so
he was trying to get his honorable discharge back.
No, it was some other shit. No. Oh, I got blessed not to get kicked out. But let me tell this shit. So when I'm going eastbound on Desert Inn, the cops going west. It's a median that divides the street. So when the cop drive by, I turn my head. I'm looking at him as we go by. That motherfucker hit a U-turn. Get to the light at Boulder Highway to make a left turn because I'm heading the freeway. As soon as I make this left turn, he fire up the lights. I turn into the fucking parking lot. It's a casino right there, Boulder Station and shit. Turn in the casino. Where I park is in front of a fucking wall. This cop getting out, trying to clutch on his weapon. He got his hand on his weapon, and I get hot. I said, "You can get your motherfucking hand off your goddamn weapon." Like, where the fuck I'ma go? And then he fucking like, what you say? I said, "You heard the fuck I said." You out here sitting and see, I'm like, I already knowing. He seen me as a black dude. Here he is on this punk shit. Like, what the fuck I'm gonna do? Drive through this goddamn wall? And he had no reason to pull me over. He couldn't write me a ticket, had to let me go. You up here you feeling a certain way? Because that's the only time, like the 3 times.
Can I ask you a question though, just real quick? So I know you got a lot of bass in your voice while you telling the story now, but can you put the real tremble in your voice when you was talking to the police? Because come on, bro. Like this me you talking to. I love you, bro, but this me. No, Brandon, the real tremble. You was like, what's up? Come on, bro. This me, bro.
Brandon, that's what Southern blacks talk like. I ain't from the South. I don't talk like that.
I'm gonna tell you what I do. I'm gonna tell you what I do when they pull me over. It's 10-2, baby.
Let me say this though. I'm chill with the cops. I don't come off erratic with them, this and that. That cop was wrong than a motherfucker walking over there unholstering his fucking gun. He was wrong for that shit.
Reggie,
so
I'm gonna tell you.
Let me say this.
Let
me say this. So you can't argue with the cops on the side of the road, right? Because they don't know the fucking law, which I find very ironic. Last time I was in court, I said, okay, so you're up here to enforce the law, correct? Right. Okay, so what's the law concerning this? Well, it's code such and such. And I said, I moved for Trooper Wilson over here to be struck as a witness, as he is obviously incompetent to be a witness, as he doesn't know the difference between a code and a law. And so, anyways, they overruled that shit, but. The fact of the matter is, they don't know they don't even know what the codes say. They don't know what's in the code. All right. They had 800 hours of training in the motherfucking academy. It takes 1,600 hours to be a fucking hairdresser. You got to have 1,600 hours of school to fucking be a hairdresser and 800 hours to fucking go over there and fucking have people's freedom in your hands. And to make judgments about law that you don't know nothing about. It's ridiculous. It's like, I might have an understanding of the internal combustion engine, all right? But that doesn't make me that doesn't make me competent to go build the next fucking rocket ship for NASA, right? And that's what they're doing out here. They take any fucking idiot that could do 800 hours in the academy, and they fucking saying, okay, now go strap on this pistol and get in this car and run around and fuck with people and do your thing. And if they say anything out of pocket, fucking shoot them motherfuckers. Because
teach him. Teach Reggie.
And that's what they're doing. So at some point, fuck it, it's hard to point to there's a lot of instances where there's malfeasance. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot more that ain't, and you can't point to the finger of malfeasance when ignorance will fucking do right. Because who are they trained by? They ain't trained
Fact.
by a chief of police. They ain't trained by the motherfucking sheriff. They're trained by the fucking district attorney. That's who gives
And I'll
them
say
a
this.
little.
Let me butt in. Let me butt in real quick, Tex. And I'll say
Yeah,
this: when it comes to the police, that's why uh I teach my son. I teach everybody. When my son, I teach him. He a minor. I say, hey man, if you come in contact with the police, whatever it is, just let them know that you can't speak to them without your parent present. You'll love to speak to them, but your parent is not present and you can't speak with them right now. When we get pulled over by the police, nobody don't do no talking. This is what you
that's
do,
right.
10 and 2. They ask you, do you know how fast you was going? I was going the speed limit, sir. They ask for your ID and shit. You give them your ID, your little fucking all that bullshit. They come back to the car. They want to do extra talking. I don't do no extra talking. I don't answer questions, officer. And that's
That's
it.
right.
My goal is to
I
go
don't answer
home.
any questions.
My
I don't
my
answer
goal
any
is to go
questions
home.
without my legal counsel present because that's
Right.
your right. And that's what you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in court. What does may mean? May means must. All right. That's the legal definition of may is must. All right. Be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney, and you have a right not to answer any questions without your attorney present. And so or legal counsel, competent legal counsel, right? And so and so you don't have to answer none of that shit. They out there fucking on a goddamn fishing exercise to try to fucking create criminal activity where none exists. So here's the deal: you can't argue with them on the side of the road, but you box them into a corner. You're preparing
Fact,
yourself for court
facts.
right off the bat. So when they come up to the window, you are going to ask the questions. He don't need to ask no questions. Uh, uh, what's the emergency? Because it's a violation of fucking the
Facts.
United
They
States
did not turn
Code.
them lights on. That's the he right. That is the proper question because those are emergency lights, service
That's
lights.
right. Emergency lights and sirens. Let me tell you something. Use of a siren and emergency lights in a non-emergency situation that's punishable by a $250,000 non-adjudicated penalty. Both of them. That's 28 USC, and that's a fact. So you ask, well, what's the emergency? Oh, there's no emergency. You're just driving a little fast. Oh, there wasn't an emergency. Okay, fantastic. You're but I clocked you going a little fast. No, you didn't. I was doing the speed limit. Well, my radar says something different. Okay, your radar says something different. All right, well, something's wrong with your radar. But all right, well, I'm just gonna have to get your ID. Look, they can look at it. You don't have to give it to them because why? That identification, all right, has a number on it. That number is a QSIP number, all right, and attached to QSIP numbers is a security. All right. You're the holder of the security. You don't have to give that shit to nobody. Now, that security belongs to the state of whatever, but you're the holder and you're the bearer. Okay. You don't have to turn that over. You could put that up to the window and say, I have to show it to you, but I don't have to hand it over to you. All right. They don't have the right
Don't do that,
to ask
Reggie.
for.
Don't your black ass do that, Reggie. I just want to. Hey, Tex, I gotta say it for the black people in the audience. I gotta let him know you don't have that ability. You are black. If they come to the car, give them all the information they need about your black ass. Go ahead, Tex.
Anyway, so all right. So if it's getting too hot, right? Fuck you, go on ahead and concede, right? Because nobody wants to get shot on the side of the fucking road. All right. I've been there too. Fucking tased for over half a fucking hour. Because fucking goddamn, I knocked this dumb motherfucker out of the way of a fucking rattlesnake that was fixing to bite his stupid ass. Anyways, but so if it's getting too hot, don't argue with them, right? You don't have to argue with them. You could go through it and then when they bring you the citation, read it read all of it, and say, I don't really want to sign this, and hand it back. And they're going to say, well, if you don't sign it, then I'll take you to jail. You want them to and record everything. Make sure you get that fucking recorded, because if they're threatening you, that contract is fucking void on its face, because a contract is not enforceable if it doesn't have two consenting parties. So under duress through fucking threat, that voids the contract right there. So okay, so you're saying that I have to sign this, or you are going to arrest me and confine and put me into confinement? Yes, that's what I'm saying. Okay, fine. UCC 1-308. All rights reserved, without prejudice, without recourse, and then sign your name, and then underneath it, write signed under duress through threat of arrest and confinement.
Hey Tex, I got a question.
Do
you think Cash Patel gonna get rid of? Do you think he gonna drain the swamp of the FBI and NSA? And do you think Trump gonna really go after the CIA? And do you think he really gonna do it?
So I don't pay a whole lot of attention to politics. I just hope for the best and expect fucking way worse than fucking what I could really expect. But I've heard a couple of things recently, and one was on day one, he's going to start getting everything gathered to release all of the JFK files, unredacted, because everybody who was involved is dead now. And that's cool with me. Fucking, I mean, I know who done it, and there was too many people involved. I'm gonna put you on, T. There were so many different factions that stood to lose money. You can't tell me that it wasn't, a conspiracy through all of them, an organized attempt to get rid of the guy that was going to cost them all a bunch of money. And so there's that. The other thing that he's doing is he's creating a new agency. While he said he's going to knock down a bunch of other agencies, either get rid of them completely or get rid of a bunch of personnel that's not necessary on other ones. But he said he is going to open up a new agency called the External Revenue Service in order to get rid of the Internal Revenue Service, I guess, over time. I don't know, but the External Revenue Service is supposed to be the institution that that's over the tariffs and whatnot. So, I mean, that's good. But the people are not subject to taxation anyway. I go over the W8BEN too. The W8BEN, states that you're the beneficiary of your own labor. You're opting out of the fucking tax. The only reason that people pay taxes is because they've agreed to pay the taxes. Income tax, right? In the Constitution, it states that taxes will be levied against the states. Like the states could institute an income tax or a state tax or a sales tax, but that doesn't apply to the people. Yeah, the 16th Amendment talks about how the legislation can create any tax and levy any tax or whatever, but it doesn't say levy any tax against the people. And all I can tell you is the Constitution says what it says, and it doesn't say what it doesn't say, and that's all under common law.
What up, PT? What you got? Good to see you, brother.
What's up, fellas, man? I see how y'all educating Reg, man. We need this for these West Coast blacks. They don't know what's going on, man. These West Coast blacks don't know what's going on, right?
They really don't. Crazy niggas out the South, man. I'm just listening.
Hey, well, the National Security Council is over all the FBI shit. So that's more political candor than anything. So that don't even really matter because he still got to answer to somebody.
Well, say that again.
That ain't even the president.
Hey, Pitt, say that again.
The FBI is under the National Security Council. So all those branches, the CIA, FBI, DEA, all of those things are up under the National Security Council. That's the person that run that.
So you saying Trump can't get rid of it, or they gotta go through Congress?
No, it's already set up. Look it up.
They're
already set up.
They're independent corporate agencies, just kind of fucking run amok. Ain't none of them have a fucking budget. They're all paid by off the books funds. All of them.
Right, but I mean, the person.
So the money is approved through who?
Congress, most of it.
That's
most
right.
of it,
So
Congress.
will
Congress has the authority. So that's to go to say Trump wouldn't have the power to off those agencies, then, right?
No, he can't, because he can't, because there's off the book money too that Tex can probably gonna tell you about. There's on the book money which goes through Congress. There's off the book. So
yeah, but all of those agencies or the National Security Council, that was created by executive order. So why couldn't he? Why couldn't he do another executive order, shut the whole motherfucker down? I don't know how you would go through piece by piece and trim the fat without just doing an executive order to get rid of the whole motherfucker. I don't know. That's something I'd have to read on.
To me, it'd be equivalent to getting rid of the TSA, getting rid of some of those 9/11 policies. It's equivalent to the same thing. Nobody's going to want to look weak and do that, so they're not going to do it. The same thing when nobody wants to look weak with police, they're not going to do it. It is the perception of it. It doesn't even matter if it's right or wrong.
So that's true too. I don't know. I just hope that if that's what he's going to do, it would be a good thing as far as I'm concerned, because none of those agencies are constitutional. The only constitutional law enforcement agency is the sheriff's department. That's it. Nothing else. And so it would get rid of a lot of shit. I'm working on something right now, and I don't know how bad it'll be, but I'm gonna try to burn down the House of Cards in the state of Texas. I'll just go on ahead and say it on here. Fucking, I know I'm pretty sure I'm already watched and fucking my phone is tapped and all this shit. I'm working on something with a precinct right now, and it all comes down to taxes, and when they refuse to provide me with the proper tax paperwork, with the proper tax forms that they have to provide me with by law, okay, then I'm gonna call the IRS and I'm gonna call the SEC and let them know that they're creating unauthorized bonds, and I'm gonna call the U.S. Marshals, because the principal agent of the corporation is the one overseeing all of that, and they need to perform an investigation in order to bring this to heel. And then, of course, go big or go home, right? I'm gonna call the local news agencies, all the local newspapers, say, hey, I got a story for y'all. Y'all might want to investigate that. If they do their due diligence, that shit'll go national in no time. And then, fucking the House of Cards fucking burns down. Just know that fucking it would be Frida Presler, that crusty old fucking bitch that goddamn fucking dropped a match on fucking my theoretical gasoline.
I mean, but tax is one of them things, man. Look, even your house tax, what you pay for your house. Why do you pay tax every year on the house you bought one time? Like, name another part. Name something else you buy and you pay taxes on it every single year. When you purchase it or sell it, that's when you're supposed to pay taxes. Not every year somebody keep coming back digging in your pocket off some shit you bought 20 years ago, off of a value that they made up.
And I agree with that, man. If there's one thing I'll say Trump can turn me around on supporting him, is to dismantle a lot of shit. A lot of shit with the insurance companies, the taxation of what you're saying, like on property that you buy one time 20 years ago. Like, you got to do away with a lot of shit, because the fucking that is happening to the American people, that financially, that shit has to stop. Because it almost brings what you talk about with slave and slavery and shit. Is it almost makes to where every fucking person, citizen in this country, is a fucking slave, and you're slave to corporations who should be paying the taxes, and not
corporations. People. Corporations are the only entities that are liable for taxes. So check this out. The reason that you're paying taxes on your house or your land or whatever is because because you haven't made the statement that it's land. You've agreed that it's real estate. And you go back to legal definitions. What's the definition of real estate, and what's the definition of land? And what's the definition of lands with an S? It doesn't mean the plural of land. It doesn't. It's something else entirely. You got to look up your legal definitions. And I've got a book here concerning freaking land patents, allodial titles, to pull your land out of being real estate, therefore pulling it out of the public and placing it solely within a private, within an irrevocable foreign trust. This is a lot of advanced shit, but I'm just saying that it's all right there. It's all there to do. You got to make a concerted effort to do it. And this is why lawyers and all these courts and everything think everybody's dumb, right? Because all of this information is out there, but it's not simple at all. It's all hidden within bureaucracy, and it's been constructed that way. You know, oh, these people don't know this. Okay, well, you know, we're gonna make sure they don't know it by hiding it. You know, I've talked about the damn the letter of between Woodrow Wilson and Colonel Mandel Edward House, or Edward Mandel House, where Edward Mandel House talks about, you know, not one person in a million could figure this out. And even if they do, we've got plausible deniability on our side. That's when he was talking about having everybody register, and through the ancient act of pledging, people are going to be pledged as property through the Social Security number. Through the birth certificate or whatever. I mean, and here's something else. Reg, see if you can pull this up real quick and share it. The legal definition of the word informant.
And remember, you can display that shit.
Okay, I'm not as quick as you are, so I'm requesting your assistance.
Put that. What was that again?
The legal definition of the word informant.
All right, go ahead. I'll get it pulled up.
All right. So if anybody wants to see and kind of, you know, start the journey on their path to freedom, look at your birth certificate and see which block they had your mother sign under. It don't say mother. It don't even say parent or guardian or custodian. Look up those definitions too. You got to learn those definitions too. She signed under the block titled informant, but she didn't know what she was signing. All right. She's just giving birth to a child. She's starry-eyed. She wants to hold her child. She's under the influence of narcotic drugs to help her deal with the pain. That's not a fucking legal contract. Was there full disclosure about what she was signing? Well, absolutely not.
And then you got to add it on.
I got added on. What?
Yeah, you don't see it.
Oh, okay.
You don't
I
see
got
it up there.
yeah. All right, cool. Informant. An individual who reports any wrongdoings against another person. Right? An informant also, so this is a Justia dictionary, but in Black's Law, it has a few more. It has footnotes and stuff. So an informant is also somebody who's informing the government that a corporation was created as well, right? And so check it out. I got my birth certificate right here, just so y'all can see and see that I ain't fucking bullshitting with this shit.
Yeah, I got another one up there. You can pull that one up after you display that.
All right. So under block 20, I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Under block 20, you'll see my mother's signature. What does that say? Read it to me, Reggie.
No, you got to read it. I can't see that shit. So on your camera, so under where you got each individual on here, it's a button to the when you go into the pictures down the bottom to the left side, you'll see a button that lets you just put. So you'll put your screen on the camera. So click that. You see what I'm talking about?
No.
Look at not in the main little box here, but down the pictures you see of us below. Click on that. You see a box, so we can change the cameras. There you go.
This one right here. Okay.
Yeah. So you got to read it because it ain't large enough. Go press it.
So block under block 20, right there. It has my mother's signature. What does that say?
Yeah, I can't see that shit. You got to read that.
Informant. All right. Under block 20.
Wait, put your finger where that line is. Put your finger where that line is. Where's 20 at?
All right, hold on. So right there. Can y'all see that shit?
Oh, yeah, I see it.
All right. And what does that say under block 20 where she put her signature?
Yeah, it says informant.
All right. Now look to the one just to the left of it. C.
Yeah, you got to read it. I can't see it.
Okay, so I'll read it. It says, how many children were born dead after 20 weeks of pregnancy? 0. But then it says, how many other children were born alive but are now dead? 0. How many other children are now living? 0.
Yeah, that might be a Texas thing. So each state must have different shit. Yeah, y'all got a lot of shit in y'all birth certificates.
That's the long form, right? There's 2 certificates, right? So in Texas, we got a birth certificate and we got birth certificate long form, right? The long form has more information on it. The short form it's condensed, right? And so in all these other states, or the majority of the other states, they have what they call a birth certificate and a certificate of live birth. One is the fucking bond, and one is the certificate of live birth that's also a bond. One creates the dead entity or the corporation. The other one pledges all of the future labor from the living individual. So that's so that's the fraud. That's how the fraud's perpetrated on a motherfucker. And he ain't even, he's taking a breath. All he done is taking a breath. And by virtue of your mother's signature under fraud as an informant, she's pledging all of your future labor to the fucking government so that they can fucking take out loans from the Federal Reserve. Your future labor is pledged as repayment. Tell me you ain't a fucking slave. Tell me people ain't fucking born slaves. They're not born slaves. They're usually fucking free for anywhere between 3 and 7 days. Boy, this shit gets me fucking worked up. But yeah, and all of that is right in front of us, and we ain't never paid no fucking attention to it because we've been asleep in a whole lot more ways than one. Right? Man, when I started, that's one of the first things, when I started studying this shit, that's one of the first things that I learned was the birth certificate and the fuck. I said, man, there ain't no fucking way. I pulled that shit out. I said, oh my God. And it's enough to fucking make your head spin because the fraud is so over the fucking top with the answers and your remedies hidden so fucking far within bureaucracy. Fucking it boggles the mind. You can't hardly fucking believe that it's true, but once you see it, you can't fucking unsee it. That's why I showed that damn
Well, let me say this, Tex. It's also with the tax system, because if you got a business, you pay little or no taxes, right? People who don't have businesses, who get a paycheck, that get a W-2, they paying 20%. Most businesses get money back, as a matter of fact, depending on the type of business you have.
So but that's income taxes. But look up the definition of income. Income is defined as monies or profits obtained through investment within a corporation. But if you don't earn income and you've earned wages, well, that's different. Wages are non-taxable. That's right there in Title 26 in the IRS code. Wages are non-taxable.
So
Furthermore,
define wages though. What's the difference?
Look up the definition. I don't have that right off the top of my head, man. My bad. I can't remember all of them. But so that's when you're looking in the tax code and you're going through it and you're looking at what's not taxable. All right. Income is taxable, but wages are not. Also, IOUs are non-taxable. But if you look up the definition of a dollar, it's in there. The dollar is defined as a Federal Reserve note, and a Federal Reserve note is defined as a debt note, and a debt note is defined as a negotiable instrument, and a negotiable instrument is defined as an IOU, and IOUs are non-taxable.
It depends. It depends on what you are as an entity. Are you coming as a business owner? If you on a board, if you're an individual that works for a company, it depends on how you present yourself to that entity. Within the entity, you could be an employee. Right. You could be within the entity, you could be an employee that works for the entity, even though it's your company. So it depends on how you present yourself.
Sure. So here's the deal. There's an IRS form. This is what I started using. All right. And this was 8-10 years ago. All right. I used the W8BEN. That stands for that's beneficiary paper. BEN stands for beneficiary. All right. And on there, it asks why it says, well, why are you filling out this paperwork? I probably got one somewhere. I might even have one. Let me look real quick. So it excuse me. I don't want to give y'all wrong information or say something incorrect, but looking on here real quick, there should be something from Two Wolves.
I mean, then it changes every year too. That's the other thing. So LLCs now, they don't help you with taxes and LLCs. Those two things don't really go together. That pretty much is over. Benefits from LLCs is just not being sued.
Hey, break down the LLC, Pitt. Like, when would you use it? I think it's for tax, or no, it's for legal protection, right?
Right. It just protects your assets, so nobody can go against you personally. So if you own a company, you could have an S corp. So you have an S corp and you have Reggie owners S corp. You own that. Within the LLC, say you got a landscaping company. You say Reggie Landscaping LLC. It's inside of the S corp. The LLC protects you legally with somebody suing you that you did some damage or something. Them going after your personal assets. They can only go after the business assets, but it doesn't help you when it comes to the taxes.
And let me ask this. Want to have a sole corp. Wait, Tex, let me ask this. Wait, let me say this. So with in the LLC, do you have to, for you to get money out of it, do you now have to be listed as an employee to pay yourself out of it? Is that what you got to do?
No,
that's an S corp. You're talking about an S corp. You're talking about S corp.
Yeah,
S corp is where you have members and boards and
let me tell you something about an S corp. All of these, so all of these tax preparation companies or whatever, if you've got an LLC, right, they all want you, they have been instructed to tell you, oh, well, this is set up like an S corp. We'll just fill out the taxes as an S corp. Don't motherfucking do that, because that shit's under your social security number, and that makes you fucking liable.
Yeah, it's not. You have to get an S corp.
Go ahead.
So S corp, what that does is, You now you own the owner of the company is up under how many people you put it. So you can put 4 people on there. You put your kids on there. You pay yourself a salary out of that S corp, right? And out of that salary, you could put things like your 401k retirement can be on there. You could put things like your actual salary, a reasonable salary on there can be on there. So out of the money that's going into that corporation, even though the corporation is over all the money, you're not taking all the money, so you're not being taxed on all the money. And the part that you're contributing to your retirement, that's being deducted. So if you contribute to a 401k, that's being deducted. If you contribute to uh to your cars and all those other assets, and you have more things to write off now because you're now a corporation, a legal
I'll be right back,
corporation.
yo.
So it helps with
But
that.
is it?
Those are,
I mean, what? Go ahead. My bad.
but it depends on what scope of what the business is too. So those are things you have to corporate S corps and LLCs. Really, if you're going to pick, in most cases, you want to get an S corp. You really got to talk to a tax attorney to figure it out because that stuff changes every single year, bro. That's the other thing. So what might be good this year is probably not good next year. But in most cases, just having the LLC, it doesn't give you like a tax benefit. You won't get that and be able to write a bunch of stuff off in most instances. It's just going to help you legally for your business. If something happened and somebody tried to sue you, they can't. They can only sue the corporation. Can't come after your house. They can't come after your car. They can't do that.
Do you think it's a smart thing to do? But how does it? What's the risk when you do that shit? Or how
Well,
do you
you have
go about saving? So say somebody does sue the corporation and they're able to go after that money. How do you prevent that shit? So say like you generated 30 million in revenue. How do you go about say I wanted secure personally to have in my personal account 25 of that million? Can you do that? Or are you bound by restrictions on how much income you can pay out yourself as an employee and the corporation got to maintain this amount of money in it?
well
Is that
that I mean that depends on the business. So all businesses are different. Some businesses you have insurances that you pay for annually or quarterly. And then some of them you have it kind of wrapped up in the contracts that you're given as a subcontractor. So it depends on the business of what you're actually doing to have that kind of protection that you're talking about.
but
But
my
most of
thing
the
is,
time,
are you limited in how much you can pull from that corporation? Like I'm paying, my salary
no,
is $2 million a year. You're not limited in that.
no. I mean, but you want to have you well, on paper, what you're going to actually pull is going to be different than the actual money that's going to come out. So let's say you had 150K. Out of that 150, you could put 25 down for your 401k, right? So that's money you took, but it gets written down as a deduction. It doesn't get written down as actual income. That's not income. So that's not actual income that you're taking, but it's coming into your account, the 401 account. So that's not actual income. And you can do it as a price match. So not only that 25 now, it became 50. So now you got 25 from the corporation that gave you, and you put 25 in there out of your own money. So you got a price match. You put 25 in, and then the corporation said, you put 25K, I'm gonna match it. I'm gonna put 25K with it. So you get the 25K on the personal side as a deduction on your personal income, and then on the other side, the corporation gets a deduction for contributing to the employees. So that even though you took the actual income, you got a double write-off for that. So it's ways to actually take the income, and on paper, you want to write that money down. You don't want to have actual income. You want to have as little as income as you actually have, and there's legal ways to do it, where there's really nothing crazy going on. You just have to have your company's paperwork up the right way, where you have corporations, S corps, and LLCs, and all of that. And most of the time, you're going to have a combination of the LLC and the S corp. It's not going to be either or. Usually, it's going to be both. Go ahead, Tex. I mean, take your thing. Go ahead.
All right, can y'all hear me? Because somehow or another I lost. Oh, there it is. There it is right there. Okay. Let me bring this back up. So I found my W8 BEN.
Was you trying to put it on the screen?
Yeah, but it's a PDF and like it wants to go big, right? Oh, hold on, I could probably.
Yeah, you got presented.
Okay, that ain't what I was trying to do. Hold on. I'm trying to shrink it down a little bit. so I could see what's behind it there. I don't think that I could do that. Okay, so let me go back. All right, so present it, and then slides of PDFs, my computer, upload a file. Desktop, my documents, W8BN. Did it not accept it, or what the fuck just happened? Oh, it's processing. All right, so, and I'm gonna show you. Okay, there it is. I'm gonna add it to the stage right now. So I don't know if y'all can see that real good or whatever, how big people's screens are, but so it's the identification of beneficial owner. Beneficial owner of what? All your labor, right? And so I signed it with the beneficiary signature, quantum syntax, with the colon, my first name, hyphen, middle name, semicolon, family name, comma, beneficiary. Country of ownership, not applicable, right? And then I put the rural route on there, which I need to update because that's not the correct rural free delivery address. All right. The date of birth, and this is important, all right, because it's the date of birth of the living entity. And then when it comes down here, I mean, you'll see, what percentage of withholding do you want to the company to withhold to send in as taxation? Zero, nothing, because I'm not liable for that shit. And then underneath it says explain the let me see. I can't get that bigger, but explain the conditions in the article of paragraph, the beneficial owner, whatever it, why you're eligible not to withhold all taxation withholdings. I'm not a U.S. citizen. I'm an American national. I'm an American. I'm not a person. I'm one of the people. I'm a living fucking man. And then sign that shit and send it off. That's the first time since 2013 that I ain't been fucking audited when I started filling out those fucking W8BEMs.
Reg, you better not do that, bro. They're gonna have your black ass in jail, bro.
Man, I ain't doing none of this shit. I'm just tuning in to what y'all be talking about, man. You know how I am.
I mean, I'm not gonna share nothing with y'all. I mean, I can share stuff with you that I haven't done, but I'm gonna tell you, hey, I haven't done it. I don't know if it works. I don't know if that's going to work, because there's a lot of different fucking processes out there. But I'll share with you what I have done that I know works.
I mean, but the problem is that code is it changed so much. That's the problem. Okay? That thing changed every single year, and they don't even release. Like, you notice they won't even release the forms for you to do it. Probably until like they wait to release that stuff because they still write that stuff.
Right, but all you gotta do is call the IRS before January and say, "Hey, I need these forms," and they're gonna say, "Okay, well, we got these ones, we got these ones, we got these ones. These ones are on back order. They haven't made it to the because I just ordered a bunch: 1099As, 1099Bs, 1099Cs, 1099 OIDs, 1040s, 1041s, 1096s, 456s. There's some of them that are non-year specific, and you can print them off the IRS website. Some of them are not year specific, but they've got carbon copies, and you've got to supply certain entities. If you're going to 1099 them, you've got to supply them with a copy, and it's got to be a carbon copy. So those you do have to order. And so, and then some of them will be on back order or whatever, and so you might have to wait a little bit to get them. But all you got to do is call the IRS. I'm telling you, if you call every IRS agent has been so freaking helpful every time I've called to make a request. The first time I ordered 1099As, I said I need to order say 30 1099As, and they're like, well, you could only order 20 if you're an individual. If you're a corporation, you could order more. I said, well, I'm an individual. Thank you for that. And she said, and what were you ordering again? I said 1099A. She says, oh, really? She said, are you gonna need the B's, C's, OIDs, the 1040V? And she gave me the whole rundown. And I said, well, yes, ma'am. As a matter of fact, I am. Could you send all of that to me? Well, yes, sir. We absolutely will. Thank you for. And they've been super helpful. If you need an explanation on stuff, they'll give you the explanation. Just say, hey, I was reading through the instructions. I don't understand, this part of the instructions. Could you kind of, help me along with that? And they will help you. See, the Treasury is your accountant and the IRS is doing the accounting. And so they want to help you. The reason fucking we're in so much national debt is because people have not been assessing taxes correctly. Just know that everything is a tax issue because everything is commerce, from a charge on a speeding citation to property tax, to everything that the government will send you in the mail, to your electric bill, to your mortgage, to your rent. All of it is secured, whether it's a mortgage-backed security or unsecured debt. It doesn't matter. We're in a debt-based fucking society. If you read GAAP principles, generally accepted accounting principles, it all sounds phony because everything is in the fucking negative. And it took me a long time to have, and I still don't think that I have a full understanding of it, but I have a pretty good understanding of it. And it's taken me years to do that. All that shit's hidden in bureaucracy. All of it's fucking been done under fraud. But they give you the remedy. House Joint Resolution 192, 193, Public Law 78-10. All right, there's your remedy right there. Location of the debtor, UCC 9. The United States is in Washington, D.C. So who's the original debtor? Who? And the debtor is responsible for all debts, public and private. It says it on our money. Payment for all debts, public and private, under Public Law 78-10. The United States is responsible for all debts, public and private. You come out of slavery. We've been indoctrinated since fucking birth to believe that this way is the way. Fuck no. It's in front of us. We just got to do some digging, and we got to read. And if we don't understand it, we got to look up definitions. I look up the definitions of everything. The words a, for, from, of. So that way I truly understand what's going on. Or what is being said in any legal document. If I don't know if I think I know what a word means, but I don't know legal definition, you better believe I'm gonna look up the legal definition because it's liable not to be what you think it is. And this is how we've been kept down for a long time. I'm not going to go into the whole process used to discharge debt or to settle debt or whatever. Just know and what coupons are and vouchers. There's a whole lot of shit that are securities where the QSIP numbers are located, you know, that's all for like a fucking seminar, like a 3 or 4 day fucking seminar, because it's a lot of information. Know that there's a way to get on fidelity.com and see where your entity, what's been opened, what type of corporations were opened under your name that you gave them authority to do by virtue of allowing them to utilize the social security number that's traded publicly on the open fucking market. Your name, your fucking birth certificate, your social security number, the QSIP number on the back of the social security number, the QSIP number on the back of the birth certificate, where all that shit is publicly traded on the open market. You're the beneficial owner of all of the interest. It takes a long time to get there.
Real quick, Texas, you know that a lot of these corporations be having insurance policies on their employees and they don't even know nothing about it?
That's right. Yeah, they do.
Wait, say that again. Say that again.
A lot of these corporations have insurance policies on their workers, and the workers don't even know anything about it. They don't sign any documents.
I heard about that shit.
Yep.
But what can the family sue over that shit if you found out, or the law protects the corporation?
Corporation pay premiums. Yeah, corporation pay premiums.
Damn.
like I said before, you know, this was early when we first started doing these, Reg. I said, look, a lot of this is biblical. I don't know how many people are you know, read the Bible or whatever, but the Bible can give you a broad overview and a guide to how to move through this shit. You know, so Jesus died on the cross, right? So that all of our sins will be forgiven, right? What is a corporation? So we break it down in Latin and Greek, right? So corpus in Latin means body, generally referencing a dead body. And ation in Greek is animation or movement. So you've got a moving dead body, right? That's what a corporation is. Well, why did people create moving dead bodies? To absolve the living of any liability. They're all under the corporation, just like we're under Jesus. Jesus died for our sins, right? So he absolved us of our sins. Well, that's what the corporation does. The corporation takes all the liability off the living and puts it on the dead. And you can't throw a dead man in jail. That's a fact.
Yeah, but most people think about the corporation, they think about the C Corps. That's the big ones, your Apples, your Facebooks, TikTok. Most of us gonna have LLCs or S Corps, the small companies. We're not even close to it on that ramp. Those people don't pay no taxes. Because they get all, even when they build land, they get all kind of kickbacks to keep those things. They get tax breaks for like 10, 15, 20 years when they build new facilities and all kind of crazy stuff. So like those corporations ain't the same.
So the companies I've owned, like in Texas, if you have not profited $999,000 up to $1 million, you don't owe any tax. The corporation doesn't owe any tax because they, you know, they can't tax the dead, even though the corporation is the one liable for the tax, right? But because that's what's within their own codes. But then they pull the okie doke on you and they put in another internal policy that says, okay, well, you know, if you haven't made up to $1 million, then you don't owe any tax. And the corporation doesn't own any tax. You just got to file a non-disclosure, a public non-disclosure, which states, okay, you know, this is what was made throughout the year, but it wasn't up to $1 million, and so that's why the tax ain't owed. But then they've got this income tax, and so I gave you the definition of income, right? Income is, and I'll say it again for anybody that didn't hear it. Income is profits or monies obtained through investment within a corporation. That's what income is. All right. But what is a tax? So Black's Law, 8th edition, defines tax as a contribution imposed. Well, do we know what contribution means? Well, we look up the legal definition of contribution in Black's Law Dictionary. It says it's a gift. And if we look up the word imposed in Black's Law Dictionary, it says to obtain through trickery and deceit. Income tax is fraudulent. It's void upon its face because it's a fraudulent contract if it's obtained through fucking trickery and deceit. It's in front of us. We just got to find it. We just got to look it up. And it takes a long time because, you know, but that's why I'm here, because I've taken the long time to fucking look at this shit. So I'm going to throw out shit to y'all, right? Because I want y'all to know. And you know, but y'all have to do some due diligence as well. Look at shit up, whatever is involved with your particular situation. You know, do your own research, look up your own definitions, and decide which way you're going to go, because you know, citizens are considered taxpayers, right? But the people, living men and women, are not liable for tax. Okay, I was just looking. I don't know if Bolas is still in there. You know, no, I ain't been part of no SEAL Team 6, and I don't think that SEAL Team 6 ever got Osama bin Laden in 2011.
You think that shit was fake?
Fuck yeah. Let me tell you something. If they had shot fucking Osama bin Laden and fucking killed him graveyard dead, they'd have had his face plastered on the fucking news everywhere to fucking drum up support for the fucking bullshit ass wars that nobody wanted to been in for over fucking 20 years. Man, but instead they wrapped him up in a fucking sheet and threw him in the ocean. Come on, man. Osama bin Laden been fucking dead.
I think he would have popped out and been like, "I'm here, motherfuckers." No, I think they end up getting his ass.
I think that Osama bin Laden,
Trump is opposed to so much, he will air that shit out if it wasn't true.
And he may air it out after all. But I doubt it. There's probably some 50-year non-disclosure agreement that them people signed, that them guys signed, them SEAL team operators. I'm sure they signed a non-disclosure agreement. When they got debriefed, there was probably a bunch of black suits sitting there saying, okay, if y'all want to go home, y'all got to sign this non-disclosure agreement, forcing them into a fucking contract.
Some of them wrote books about that shit.
Oh, yeah. Because it makes money. But
yeah, I think they did that shit.
I think that Osama bin Laden been fucking dead. Before, I mean, because look, when 9/11 first happened and they try to peg that shit on a bunch of goat herders, okay, over in the fucking Middle East, right? Osama bin Laden was an old ass motherfucking man then. Like you've seen the videos of it, fucking gray beard, fucking he crouched down, fucking shooting a rifle, and then somebody got to help him up, like you know. And then the videos that kept coming out, every time a video come out, he get younger and younger. They're like, oh, this just put out by Osama bin Laden. Man, come on, fucking this motherfucker hiding in a cave in motherfucking Afghanistan, and he got some just for men to dye his hair back black. Come on, get off the fucking bullshit. And here's the deal. I wrote a letter. I wrote a letter to George Bush. I doubt he ever saw it. I'm sure nobody ever fucking opened it up. But I said, look, I know how to find Osama bin Laden. All you got to do is dial 1-800-FLOWERS and deliver flowers because they guarantee delivery anywhere in the world.
Man, them seals found that motherfucker the same way they found what's that fool? What's his name? Saddam Hussein. Like I think they get the intel, they go in there covert because I don't think they would have killed Osama if it hadn't been for how things were set up in that compound. I think they end up in a firefight, end up killing his ass.
Yeah, they ended up killing his ass. But fucking, how come his face? Saddam Hussein, when he was killed, fucking, you still see pictures of his face plastered up on fucking news shit.
Well, no, you didn't see Saddam face plaster when he died. You just seen when they captured him because he went through trial. You didn't see when they hung him.
I seen all kind of pictures after he was dead, and they put that shit up. Fucking Saddam Hussein dead. We got Saddam Hussein. You know, they put him on trial at a global court, world court, fucking for war crimes, fucking whatever it was. Fucking hung his ass. Look at these pictures of him. Fucking Osama bin Laden. You saw one news clip of motherfuckers throwing him in a drink.
Yeah, no, I think they did that shit. I forget what they say the reason behind doing that shit. But I think you would have but look, if he died a long time ago, you would have had that shit reported by the Al Qaeda. You'd had Al Qaeda posting that shit.
Why would they do that? If Osama bin Laden was, the rest of the breakdown of Al Qaeda or whatever, which Al Qaeda fucking translated simply means the database. Fucking, I'm probably part of Al Qaeda. I'm probably on the fucking database. You know what I mean? But so if the structure of it was based upon Osama bin Laden being at the top, right? And then everybody's up underneath it. Why would Al Qaeda or anybody else say, "Oh, he's dead"? Now I'm running the show.
Well, because the intelligence community will get a hold of that. They know who's in charge, who's at the top of this. So and they'll find out.
The intelligence community don't report nothing fucking important like that to the fucking American people.
No, some shit they would never report to the American people.
Yeah, and if they're trying to keep a fucking ongoing war, fucking, and this was stated by George Orwell in 1984, the war was never meant to be won. It was meant to be continuous in order to use up assets and use up use up commodities and everything that if the war wasn't going on, then the people could use that to generate wealth instead of just wasting it in order to keep people poor. The government wasting those resources to keep people poor. The people would utilize those resources themselves to build wealth, but not when the government is procuring those resources, because then they can price gouge, they can fluctuate the price, they can do whatever because they're the main commodity holder. So as long as Osama bin Laden was alive, it was good for business. I think that motherfucker been dead. They show pictures of Saddam Hussein after he was dead. They ain't showed not nary one picture of fucking Osama bin Laden after he was dead. And then they show one little short video of fucking supposedly of somebody wrapped up in a sheet and they threw him in a drink. And I remember what the reason behind that was, or what the purported reason was, is because to bury somebody at sea, according to Afghan culture, is a big disrespectful thing. Man, come the fuck on. Those motherfuckers live out in the goddamn desert. What do you mean bury them at sea? They ain't no seafaring nation. What the fuck? What? Give me a break. I don't believe none of it. We know Osama bin Laden didn't plan the fucking thing into the damn towers. We know he didn't do that. We know that
Oh
was an
man,
inside
let's get
job.
into that shit. Who you think did that shit? Let me hear this shit, because I go at people with the 9/11 conspiracies that no planes hit it.
Oh, I'm not saying planes didn't hit it. I believe that planes hit it. But I also
That it
think
was an inside job.
that it was an inside job.
For
Fucking Dick
the
Cheney
purpose of
was
what?
involved in that. Dick Cheney was involved in that. Fucking George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr., Donald Rumsfeld, the whole fucking goddamn Pentagon war hawks and all them motherfuckers. Hey, in a boxing, you know it. That's a fact.
Oh man, y'all crazy as shit. Let's go. Let's get into it.
All right, so I'm gonna get back to that moon landing again because I want to say something else, but from last time. But it was all an inside job. You just got to look fucking who stands to make the money. All right. So first of all, a little hat had purchased the Twin Towers about a month and a half before the whole 9/11 thing went down.
Well, he took control of a lease.
Right. He took control of the lease, but he insured all of the World Trade Center buildings that he took over lease on. He insured them for acts of terrorism. The first 2 weeks before this shit went down, the first motherfucking time there's ever been a fucking insurance policy that was written concerning acts of terrorism. The first time that any private entity had fucking had an insurance policy taken out concerning acts of terrorism. That's awfully convenient.
Because I think around that time is where you're getting, but no, I don't. But no, it is not that way off, because that building had already been attacked 8 years before that shit. We forget you can't forget about the underground bombing of the towers. So of course they need to insure themselves. I think with all the
that was a test run. That was a test run to see if they could get the shit in there.
No, but now they can't get in there. Now a lot of security changed over that shit. Just like security changed after that. You never, but let me say this. You always have had hostage situations with planes, and it'll be them terrorists to take over planes, go land them back here. Now you had to where these dudes at American schools training to fly and shit. And they're trained to fly with the intentions of how to navigate these planes, how to level off these planes, and then to run them into these towers. And I think that when you look at what America's at fault with its war hawkish ass ways, you're going over there, really America is a terrorist. You're going over and terrorizing these people's nations. These are fighting people who don't have, the military resources and technology, but they're going to use what you have against you. They're going to throw your type of stones right at you, and that's what they did.
Let me ask you something. Prior to 9/11, what would any group have to gain by attacking the United States?
It's a retaliation. It's eye for an eye. You spill blood over here.
For what?
We're gonna spill blood over. Retaliation from what? From the Iraq, the shit they've done in the Middle East. Like there's a lot to retaliate against. America has been involved in America has this history. Matter of fact, European nations has this history.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is
in these countries, these people have always wanted to retaliate against America, and there's a reason why. But let me say this: there's a reason why Osama has had his issues with America.
Was Osama bin Laden a CIA agent?
I wouldn't know nothing about that. I know I hear the story about his family's construction wealth in this country or around the world.
Osama bin Laden was a CIA agent. Saddam Hussein was propped up propped up in Iraq in the late 70s, early 80s. What would be, but if you follow the money, It's all gonna come back to that. What would Afghanistan or any group, ragtag group of people made out of goat herders and children, all right, have to gain monetarily or otherwise, because you're not gonna you're not gonna make me believe that they all just religious extremists. That they so extreme in their religion that you know they're gonna come over here and they're gonna learn how to fly a plane and do acrobatics in order to fucking fly into the building, and and how uh, and how there was no jet fighter scrambled once the
Yeah,
call
there
came
were
in.
jet fighters. See, that's not a truth. There were jet fighters scrambled.
And what happened? Why were they told to stand down?
No, they weren't. They were out of range. They couldn't catch up to the planes. By time, because you got to think, it takes time for them to realize a hostage situation. I don't think that the message, like how things are relayed, because those dudes, from what the claim is, they attack the cockpit, they kill the pilots, they take over. They have already had the situation in the cabin of the airplane to where people were cut, they were threatened. Then you get people on there, because you got to think there weren't many cell phones back then neither. So you get some people on cell phones who are on recordings talking to their family members, and then you have to where air traffic. Let me say this: then you have air traffic controllers who are trying to speak to the planes from the tower. There's no response because they tell a plane to turn here. The planes are doing something else, turning back, dropping in altitude. And then you have a flight attendant that contacted United, whatever company it was with, contacted them, let them know a situation going on. So now it takes time of we trying to figure out what's going on, contact whatever government agencies, they scrambled up these jets. These jets, like when you hear the pilots, they're talking about they may have been about 8 minutes out from the location where they found the plane. They had no idea. Nobody had an idea they'd run these planes into a building and shit.
So let me ask you this. So we know that jet fuel can't burn hot enough to fucking melt structural steel. As a fact. With the whole cell phone thing, I got into an argument with this bitch a long time ago who said who would say, "Oh no, it's true, it's true." Look, they've got cell phone recordings of people that called their loved ones saying, "Oh,
that's a fact."
Yeah, okay, that's bullshit. Fucking your cell phone quits working at give or take around 1,100 feet. How high up was it that they ran into the Twin Towers?
The towers are like the towers are like 1,000 feet from where they hit, but they called before they even hit the towers. Matter of fact, no, some of them called when they were descending as they start flying over New York.
Were they flying under 1,100 feet? Or maybe it was 900 feet. It was something because I thought it was a whole lot higher than that, but it's not.
With the towers?
Because I know I've tried to use my cell phone on a fucking plane before, and the shit don't work.
Yes, a lot of times you don't, because I think they scrambling with their systems. I think they scramble out so you're not interfering with radar. I'm not radar, but their communication shit. They'll scramble out cell phones. You know that you can go in certain places and they can block out cell signals coming through. And plus, I don't think the cell towers are beaming up towards moving planes and shit like that. But so there were calls coming in. There are also phones on the plane that flight attendants can use, because you had calls from flight attendants and then from other people. I think at some point you will pick up a signal, because they were passengers talking about, because you got to think those planes descended, they dropped. They weren't flying at 30 or 40,000 feet when they hijacked them and shit. They immediately start to drop in altitude and start heading towards New York. And so you got those messages. I don't think those people are played actors. These are people's kids. I don't think all those parents are fake like their kids are missing. And plus, I don't think it's any benefit for America to fake like, because with 9/11, It's ruined the aviation industry. The airline industry is a struggling industry.
Well, of course it is. They put fucking all that NSA shit in there. Oh, and by the way, every time they've done a fucking test on those motherfuckers, 98% of fucking weapons go through. Oh, I'm looking something up.
Yeah, go ahead. But yeah, but even like with TSA and the screening, like that's always been the thing. Like you get new screeners that are out there. That type of thing is new to a lot of people, and some people overlook. You don't like when you have luggage that's packed with certain things. Certain X-ray operators at that time, they can bypass looking over, so it ain't 100% flawless, method of screening things and ensure people's safety in air travel. But they do a lot, like security at the airports is a major thing.
So now it's been switched up now. Look, and the internet is being whitewashed. I'm telling you, when I looked it up, because I had this argument with this bitch in 2017, I ain't gonna forget it. It was somewhere between 900 and 1100 feet is when cell phone signal ended. Now, when you look on the internet, it says no more than 10,000 feet in the air. Bullshit. I get on a plane, we take off, fucking goddamn. We ain't that high up when my cell phone signal cuts out. I don't know. I don't know where that 10,000 foot comes from. Anyway, but there's been technology advances as well. All right.
Yeah. The cell phone is definitely advanced.
But that's right, T. Hey, they do. They scramble jets immediately. Let me tell you, they were told to stand down. This was all found in a FOIA request. They were told to stand down because there was a training. There was a training session going on, and so don't engage. All right. So even say all that's true, how in the hell did the two twin towers, two of the tallest buildings in the world, fall into their own footprint, and why was it found at the basement level that the structural supports, all the structural beams going up, were sheared off at a 45-degree angle to ensure that it fell into its own footprint, and then Building 7 did the same thing, and then there was a plane that flew into the fucking Pentagon where no plane parts were ever recovered.
That's false as hell. They got a lot of plane parts. They even got the plane parts in museum. Like a lot of this stuff is because y'all buying a lot of conspiracy. And the other thing about where let me say this about the conspiracy community talking about steel does have weak points, and that's the other thing. You got to think a plane broke much of the structure for like 5 and 6 floors, went completely through that shit. So you best believe the building. And then on top of that, when you hear witness accounts who are in the building, this building shook. This building swayed back and forth for multiple feet. The building's twisting. So people are talking about. So the building went through a twisting. Some of the lining of the building is off. So some people are talking about as they're trying to get out of offices, doors don't work because now doors are out of line. The building has shifted, and now you have this weak point in the building with hundreds of feet above it, or some 20 to 30 stories above it, with a massive ass hole in it, fire burning, and that building's still holding itself up. That building's going to lose its strength. You're going to start get sagging. And even when they run the tests, like people do the actual test on steel to try to, come up with a theory as to why this thing fell, and they come with the same explanation. Like heat begins to weaken when it's heated. You got a fire burning, a very intense fire. That building's gonna give. Just because
why were the structural supports?
You had the building that's been compromised by a plane flying through it from front to back, and as well as with the explosion bursting the sides of the buildings out.
Why were the structural supports at the basement level, all of them, found to be sheared off at a 45-degree angle, and all the traces of thermite?
Man, I don't know where they get that third mic thing. I know some dude from a conspiracy community come up with that shit.
I think that you're going a long way to
No, and
to
it wasn't
justify.
just that you go to and it wasn't you just go to the basement. You got piles of shit on top of it. You have welders that are shearing shit off. You have welders that are shearing to pull parts out. So it wasn't, oh, you get into the basement. So I don't know where that conspiracy come from. It was no access to the basement. They probably
I
took
think
them
that
weeks
you're going a
to get under
long way to justify a narrative from a government that you don't trust, and I don't understand that.
Bro, I'm not an anti-government dude like that, and I'm not into conspiracies like that. Unless the conspiracy can be proven. The 9/11 thing, I don't think nothing proves that it wasn't. You got to give credit to the terrorists. I got to give credit to that these people pulled this shit off.
It'll be proven in time. Something will come out. Something will come out. Something will get leaked. Something will get forgotten.
Yeah.
And it'll be in a.
Trump should leak that shit if he's about to get access. He wants to do that. And let me see. Pittsburgh T said talking about you can't fly within 10 miles of the Pentagon. Yeah, they probably can do that shit, but even the Pentagon wouldn't be able to. They ain't gonna scramble no shit that quick. They may say what they're gonna do, and they're gonna do this and that, and it doesn't always work. A lot of times, these people are lapsed. They are lapsed on security measures. These planes moving in here, they don't know what's going on. It takes a while for them to even know that there's planes that are hijacked, because how does the communication get out? If your pilot's been down. Then the terrorists talking to air traffic control. Now air traffic control got to get to who they're talking about. And then on top of that, you got the transponders for these planes that are turned off. You can't communicate with them. So it's a lot that goes into it. Nothing is as simple as y'all be wanting this stuff to be. It doesn't work that simple. There's a lot of complexities to American system from tying like a travel industry, so aviation. Then you having to find communications. Who do you get in contact with? Then who do they get in contact with and let them know we need jets up? This is the plane. The plane's here. We got this wide ass open sky to go locate some planes, and we don't know where these planes are headed. So that's the other complex thing to it.
They tracking them on radar. What do you mean they got to go find them? They tracking them on radar.
Yeah, the air traffic controllers got them on radar. Now, how do you communicate that towards a government agency? How fast do they switch over? Was the technology like that? You got to think of the technology that day. The one thing with especially with a lot of the agencies, is the failure of communicating. Like that's the thing, bro. It ain't as simple as people make it out to be.
I don't find that.
Motherfuckers caught America in some vulnerable position. And Pittsburgh T, the link is in the damn chat. He says the burn point of those buildings were higher than, man, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Pittsburgh
jet fuel can't melt structural steel.
It don't gotta melt it. It can weaken it. Doesn't metal has points where it heats up and it weakens it, right?
Yes.
It weakens, right? And on top of that, you got a massive ass hole. So a bunch of the strength of the building is lost. The integrity of the building is lost.
So then
you have a big, massive gaping ass hole on top of a fire heating and weakening these floors. So when you begin, when at the onset of this building collapse beginning, it ain't much to start slowing that shit down.
So this is what I can tell you.
With the way, and let me just say this, is with the design of that building. This will open. A lot of y'all don't even study this shit. Y'all just go in these conspiracy groups. Y'all don't even look at the design. The Trade Center had a unique design. It's a wide ass, open floor ass building that's about an acre wide. It's a massive ass high rise. Once that shit starts, and especially with the outer structure of the building is where a lot of its strength is. Its strength ain't in the core. Everything towards the center of the building is wide open ass floor area. It's going to drop. It's weakened. It's pancaking. It's simple as that, bro.
So, okay. So I've done a lot of welding in my day, and when I heat something up, when I heat up metal, all right, but don't blow a hole through it. When I heat up metal, that motherfucker will bend, but it will not break.
Okay, all right. Pull this shit up. Pull this shit on your screen. Type in the still from the 9/11, because they still got that. You will see you will see some of these metal pieces that are bent. They're not cracked. They're not none of that shit. It shows you what the heat of that day did to that building. That's what you're seeing in the floors, and that's why the building. I'm gonna pull it up. Matter of fact, and share the screen because I want to show Pittsburgh T because I know a lot of conspiracy theorists don't do their full diligence of studying shit. Go ahead, give me time. I'm gonna pull it up. But the link is in the chat for the anti people.
Reg, you're completely wrong, bro. Quantico is like 20, 30 miles from there. Quantico base is where the Marine Corps headquarters is. They also got NCIS there. They also got that's a huge base. That's where they keep the presidential plane and chopper there. So like that base, along with all them other bases there, they constantly got stuff in the air, bro. It's not like they gotta go run to the planes and go get in the planes. It's constantly something going in and out of those bases. Those are huge infrastructures.
But Pete, this let me know that you're a civilian. What's to say you got planes that are doing training missions and all that? That doesn't mean those planes that you see flying at military bases. That don't mean those planes are armed with anything. So that just shows me how much of a civilian you are.
Reg, I lived in Virginia, bro. I lived in Virginia, bro. You tell me nothing I don't know.
You see those planes flying. I live in Vegas, and I'm near Nellis, where they fly all type of shit around here. That don't mean those planes. But let me say that Nellis is a crucial Air Force base for America. Nellis has some of the most advanced planes in the American arsenal out here. And that doesn't mean when they're flying, they do a lot of training in this motherfucker. They do an international training exercise out here called Red Flag or some shit. And that doesn't mean all those planes are armed with weapons in case some shit going down. Those planes did not well, let me say this. They had no idea they'll be hitting the Pentagon. Those planes did not dispatch in Washington. They dispatched from where?
Reg, what I'm telling you is those planes are
let me say, since you speaking all this conspiracy stuff, where did these planes originate from? If you can get that without typing.
It don't matter, Reg. They got a base so close to there. No, it doesn't, because they got a base there. They got planes in the air that even if those planes they doing the mission, they will tell them go do a flyover. They don't have to tell them go engage, go check it out. You ain't never seen the movies where they tell them go do a flyover, do a pass by, brush by.
What did you just say? The
movie. Like what you exactly.
You just said
no, but you saying just because but you just said like they on the training mission, they can't stop. They on the training mission. Training missions don't mean nothing, man. Everybody's armed for the military, bro. Like you was in there, you know how that go.
In the movies, that's how I know you're a civilian, bro.
No, I wasn't no civilian, bro. No, I wasn't. No, I'm not. I was in the Corps, bro. No, I wasn't. I was in the Corps. You talking?
You just said
bro, I was in the Corps.
In the movies.
Bro, I use it as an example. I was in the Corps, bro. You just using that trying to discredit what I'm saying. I'm saying, even if they're on a training mission, those still are military planes. They not no jumbo jet 737 that's going to Honolulu. They still got the weapons.
Pitt, so you're a Marine, right?
Yeah.
So when you walk around base, when Marines are walking around base, are you armed?
I'm not a plane in the air, Reg.
So when planes are going up, so Pitt, when planes are going up, because they have various missions, the military is also a financial institute. They make sure they calculate every dollar, they account for every dollar. They're not making sure they're not wasting, just throwing bullets and all this shit. Not all those planes. It can be pilots getting flight hours, working on maneuvers. Everything ain't combat mission. Some of them planes are not hot.
Hey, scroll down just a little bit, Reg. Right there.
Which one? Because I can click on them.
But that don't mean that, Reg. That don't mean what you. Yeah, but what you saying don't go.
Take a look at how that structural support is sheared off at a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, but also with that, you got to have welders come in there to shear off that for them to pull that out. That's also a thing been happening during the cleanup of this. Like I say,
what I'm doing is I see some structural supports that were cut off by welders. All right, and then I see a structural support right there that would. The one right in the middle at the 45-degree angle, and that's got a lot of old slag on it. that's already cool.
Welders came in here for them to take that apart. You can go into
That-
like if there's videos of the night. That's how I be knowing y'all don't be. I've watched this shit all day, every day. There are welders that go in that like during the cleanup phase that have gone in there
did.
and they're
did.
constantly like, when you look at even when you look at this still, look at this still right here. This still is what? It's bent. This is like probably 3-inch thick steel, like the steel in their stick. What can cause for this steel to be compressed like that and mold and folded in all these different shapes? Like that's heat, bro. That's heat and the weight of a 1,000-foot tall building.
Okay,
yeah, but airplane don't burn. It doesn't burn hot enough.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Bro,
you
talking about some planes.
You don't study metal and you have never worked in that field. There's been a university.
You study metal? So you study metal, Reg? Because there's people that disprove what you're saying.
I don't study metal, but I listen to the people.
Okay, but there's people that disprove that.
No, it
ain't. People that wrote reports. Yes, it has been, Reg. Just because you don't want to read them.
What agencies they work for? They work for what's satisfied for you to say.
I'm not going to take an agency's word at face value.
Why got to be an agency, bro?
I know a lot of y'all aren't because you buying the conspiracies. I'm gonna show more than metal.
You just sat up here and said because a military plane is on the exercise that they take the guns off the military planes because they on the exercise, bro. They take the guns off of them.
Tanks have gun on.
They don't have to put.
Let me say
this. They don't have to put no bombs on it, but they take the weapons off of them.
Let me say this: when you see tanks out there on the military base, do they got weapons?
We talking about no tanks, bro.
It's a military unit.
That's not the same thing, bro.
It's the same fucking thing. When they are out in the field moving around the military base, are there bullets on the motherfuckers? And is there fucking main battle weapon? Rounds in it? No. They're not.
Bro, you can't compare the two.
It's the same thing with planes because every time a plane going up, the pilots aren't up there fucking to do live fire shooting. A lot of times they're maneuvering.
So they have no weapons on the plane. Right, but they still got some. They got weapons on there, Reg.
No,
they might not have missiles on there.
You're wrong. A lot of training is
simulation. They ain't got no bullets on there, Reg. None.
A lot of times they don't.
Come on, man, get out of here.
I tell you what, Reg. I'm gonna do like a super CSI investigation into this over the next week, and I'm gonna look up, prior to 9/11, how many planes were in the air, because I know that there was jet planes. Washington D.C. ain't that far. All right.
No, it's not. Yeah.
And so I know that there are military aircraft that are fully fucking loaded that are continuously patrolling that area. I just don't know how far out. But I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna do a full CSI investigation into that. If I can come up with anything, then I will let y'all know next week. But I want to ask you this about the moon landing, Reg.
Let's go into it, y'all. I love going against you conspiracy theories. Let's go into it. God damn it.
So where did the moon buggy come from? Because them motherfuckers that went up there, ain't nobody been to the moon before that. Like I said before, who was operating the camera? Was it Neil Armstrong, the first guy that stepped on the moon, or was it the cameraman?
It's Houston Control. Like, what are you talking about, man?
Houston Control. Okay, so going in and out of the atmosphere, it burns at such a high rate. You gonna tell me it didn't burn up a camera stuck on the side of the fucking of the airship that landed over there?
You're not going out of the atmosphere. You don't see any need for a heat shield when spacecraft are leaving Earth. You don't see a need for that. The moon has no atmosphere. It's nothing they're burned into that's gonna burn something up. That's why you can crash it. That's why you can crash it into the moon.
Where did the moon buggy come from?
In a compartment. They house them in a compartment. So you reconfigure the design the design. No, let me say this. You reconfigure the design of the rocket that's launching that. The rocket are payload systems. So you redesign that. You house it into things. That's why once you get into space, they do rendezvous missions to where they redock, and then you pull this away. It lands down with the lunar lander. It's simple as that. These guys are scientists, man. They figure this shit out, bro.
Text you a flat earth too? You believe in flat earth?
Sir?
Oh, the earth is flat or is it round?
Yeah, you a flat earther, Tex?
No, it's round, but it's hollow inside. That's what I believe.
That the moon is hollow? Or the earth?
Yeah, I believe that the moon is hollow too. There's so the United States shot a fucking bomb.
You saying the earth is hollow?
Yeah, the earth is hollow and the moon is hollow too. It's a fact.
Fucking, no.
I've got the damn document right here that they shot a rocket into the fucking moon to see what would happen. And they said that what the response was after they did it was that it rang like a bell for over an hour. I'm gonna find that shit. I got this document right here. I gotta look that shit up.
Okay, yeah, here go another one of those steel beams. Like you look at this steel beam from the World Trade Center, how it's bent. Like that's heat, bro. It ain't cracked. It ain't none of that. It's bent.
That doesn't look like a heat bend. That looks like a cold bend to me.
Man, hell, a cold steel is gonna snap. It would snap if it was
not structural steel.
It was snap, structural steel. Just like the rest of the pieces. This under heat is going to weaken and be allowed to bend. And that's thick ass steel. Very thick ass steel. Like even when you go into a museum where they have some of these pieces in that museum, you see how thick some of that steel is. And when you see it contorted in those different shapes, like you understand. And that lets you know that this steel is for it to be bent like this, the other steel from lower floors would break. The steels from the upper floors is going to bend because that's where the fires are. Like that disproves a lot of stuff what people are saying with that 9/11 shit. Absolutely, Brandon Washington. I gotta teach folks. I made Brandon a believer that the moon landing was real as well.
Nah, I don't believe it. Now I'm not saying that we haven't been to the moon since then, but you're not gonna make me believe that we was there in 1965. When people can't get on the radio today, the most advanced radios you can't get any more than 10 or 11 miles from each other and still speak on the radio. But in 1965, you're gonna make me believe that they talked from Houston to the fucking moon?
No, they talk to him, Max. Yeah. That ain't true. They talk to him if they want to. That ain't true, Tex. You never watched the SpaceX stuff? You never watched that SpaceX stuff that they got?
The what?
They said satellites in space.
Yeah, wait. Have you ever seen the SpaceX rockets land where they talking to them, communicating, and they land back in the spot that they left out, and they grabbing them and they landing like it's looking like one of them cartoon movies or something, man? Like they way past all that.
Okay, sure. Yes, now yes. But you can't make me believe that in 1965 they had those capabilities. Unless there's a larger conspiracy, there was something. There was a whole bunch of technology that nobody else was aware of in 1965.
You never heard of? Yeah. We've been had that, bro. Look, you can look this up. They have a heart attack gun that they went to Congress and spoke on from the CIA.
I know that's a fact.
Okay, and that was in black and white film. Nobody knew none of that stuff existed. That was a secret project. The SR-71. That was a secret project that took 10, 15 years. Nobody knew anything about that. Like they've had that.
You got to think. Following World War II, there was a lot of advancing and research and developing all type of crazy shit.
Oh yeah, that's a fact. What I'm saying is, so
the internet itself, the whole internet was a project based on the military and them being able to communicate with weapons and each other. That's what the internet is based on, and that was based around that time that you're talking about. Really, before then.
The first time this I know the first time the internet was used was during the Vietnam War.
Just a little bit before that, but that's what. Yes, Brian, it's a little bit more or less, but that's what they was using it for, was war.
That's what it was used for on a wide scale. Was the first time it was used on a wide scale was during the Vietnam War by the government
Oh,
agency.
hey, Tex, you got beat up in the back. You got beat up in the back.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Brandon here to get taught again, man. I just schooled him on this subject last week.
Come on, B.
But you,
What's up? What's up? Thank you, Pittsburgh T. And thank you, Chuck, for letting me on, because I know Reggie saw me in the background with his hate ass.
I swear to God, I didn't. I didn't see your motherfucker.
First of all, let's go back to that steel beam. Reggie does not know anything about how what is called annealing and how you bend steel cold and how Reg, you don't know shit. First of all, when you heat up steel, it cracks and breaks, right? But when it's a cold bend,
No, it
does not break. It just bends.
No, Brandon, you have it absolutely wrong.
I do.
When looking, and even when you're looking, so say you're trying to fit in a piece, and this piece is to where the measurements are so tight, and they're trying to get something into something. You can heat the steel to expand that shit and have it to constrict when it cools down. Heat goes when steel is heated, it goes through expansion.
Okay, how hot? How hot? Okay, can jet fuel? Okay, can jet fuel burn? Jet fuel does not burn hot enough to burn steel, dumbass.
Brandon, your dumbass don't get shit. It don't gotta melt the shit. It can.
Yes, it does.
Brandon, your stupid ass don't know shit.
Bro, it's the shell. Listen, for a building to collapse, the infrastructure of it has to be weakened. What weakened steel?
This nigga don't know nothing. So you can look at certain things with bridges during the hot ass days in the summers. You know, bridges and shit go through the same expansion. Right?
No, we're not talking about no.
Don't stop me, Brandon. Let me cook.
Okay, go ahead.
So under this shit with bridges, to where certain bridges have certain designs with gaps and shit, is to offset the expansion due to heating in the sun during hot days. And that heat will only, and for that expansion to occur, that's only the heat, and it may hit a temperature like 200 something degrees. A jet fire, along with everything else burning inside this building, is going to add to fueling this fire, heating it to where it's hitting that steel.
You're a dummy. You're a dummy.
Brandon,
a dummy.
Let's not cry about this shit.
You're a dummy, bro.
Just because your conspiracies are being tested.
Bro, do you know how? Tex, can you pull up? Tex, hold on. I'll let you talk. Tex, can you pull up how hot what it takes to melt steel? And then pull up what jet fuel burns at. Because Reg does not know anything.
No, Brandon, you don't know anything. You talking about melting steel. This still
pull it up, Reg. Pull it up, Tex, please.
Brandon, don't know what you're talking about. Brandon, this how much you don't know what you're talking about, and you listen to them conspiracy theorists on YouTube. This still does not look melted. Let's get your.
We know, dumbass. We know that. That's the point that we proven, dumbass.
No, Brandon, your dumbass listen to some dummy on a conspiracy channel. This steel is only heated.
Okay,
and
so
we know that
it was bent under the weight of this tower coming down on it. Brandon, you don't know nothing.
We know that demolition, dumbass. That's called demo, dummy.
Hey, Brandon, yelling does not help your cause. I'm here to
school. You right, but that's called demo, bro. That's called controlled demolition.
Brandon, under demolition, under this how dumb you sound. Under demolition, you think any of this still gonna be bent or is it gonna be blown out? That's how dumb you fucking
sound. This dude here don't understand. Hey, Tex, can you explain to him because he understands you? Like I said, you look more like his teachers at school.
Tex got the same viewpoint as you.
Tex, can you explain to him? He just described a controlled demolition and don't even realize it. Am I correct?
I didn't know. This is not a controlled demolition. Demolition ain't gonna bend no steel. It's gonna burst this shit out, bend it, and break it into parts. So that debunks that dumbass thought that some damn explosive was used in this shit. Let me say this. Right. With the steel, so with an explosion, when that plane, let me say this, when that plane hit this fucking building and boom, all that steel breaks and it shoots out. It ain't no bent steel. It's broken ass steel. You don't get this kind of bend off no explosion.
Why didn't it collapse right away then, Reg? If it was behind hitting it, why didn't it collapse right away then?
Because of the strength of the building. The building held it.
It can't be both. It can't be both, fool. You see what you just said? You sound fools. You sound like a damn fool.
No, y'all sound like damn fools because your minds are simple. You're simple-minded. Fuck.
Let me ask you this. All right, so okay, just playing devil's advocate, say everything that
No, don't play devil's advocate. You believe in this shit.
I do, but what I'm saying is, I'm looking at it from Reggie's point of view. Even if all of that is true, everything that Reggie is saying is absolutely 100% true. Can we agree that all wars are bankers' wars? Reggie,
he talking to you, Reggie. He talking to you, Reggie.
I don't think this is a bankers war right here. I think them terrorists want to put on the act towards America, make a statement, and the terrorists did this shit.
Do bankers always profit from war?
I don't think America profited from none of this shit.
The answer is yes. The answer is yes, slow boy.
So let me say this.
California education.
No, time out. Did we profit off of Afghanistan, Iraq, or any
yes.
Yes.
Are you slow?
Give me the profits.
Man, this boy here.
Give me the profits of that shit. Did it erase our debt? Why we continue to pull on this debt?
What do you mean?
I think I think many of our industries collapsed as a result of 9/11. So
no, we didn't.
Give me this.
Who made the weapons, Reg?
No, just don't say no. They didn't, and no, and we did this and that. Please.
Who made the weapons? Who made the weapons? We did. Who sourced all the weapons and all the material of people going over there? We did. Who took all the resources out of the ground, protected immediately?
What was our reason for exiting out of that shit the way we did? It was
costly. No. Your first question was, did we profit? No, but your first question was, did we profit? The answer is yes.
If we would have stayed over there.
No.
The answer is yes.
The United States didn't profit, but the United States ain't a bank. Look at the Federal Reserve, the World Banking Organization, and the WFO, the World Financing Organization. Those are the ones
the Federal Reserve,
war, right?
Yeah, but that's part of the government.
And we understand that debt is money, right, through GAAP principles, generally accepted accounting principles. Fucking debt is what we're running off of. So where is the value? The value is in loaning the money to get paid back later, right? And so that's where the bankers' wars comes in. So,
but wouldn't you want to put the nation that you go in there and creating a war in debt to where they owe you back?
No, we putting all our people to work to make all them weapons, Reg, and the Federal Reserve is housed in the United States. The United States housed the Federal Reserve. It housed all that crap, all the stuff that you think is international. All of it's in New York City and Washington D.C. The World Bank, that's in D.C. The NATO, all of that stuff is in America. So it's all a game for them to call it whatever they want to call it, but they all work for the corporation of America. So America as a whole wins.
So America didn't win shit. They just went into fucking debt. But
exactly. Hold on. So where's the profit? Is what I'm saying.
The profit is for the banks.
That's what the debt is. Yeah, but the debt is what we. But y'all misconstruing debt. Y'all misconstruing debt as a bad thing. I think that's what we.
Cases debt ain't a bad thing when you need to get what. But America is an advanced nation. To create a conflict or a war, you should not be setting yourself into debt. Now I think the wrong thing. I think the wrong thing to what 9/11 did was weaken the rights of Americans, because now it surveils everyone in this nation. And I don't think there was no benefit out of 9/11.
You're not right.
I think there was no profit out of 9/11. I think it made this nation into where it's more of what people used to describe. When I was a kid, people used to always describe this police state shit, and that's what 9/11 brought things closer to, it being a police state.
Quick. Hey, I've been telling you, and I didn't know how to add it before, but I know how to add it now. All right. So remember I was talking about silent weapons for quiet wars? I don't know who went on the internet and found that document, but I got it right now. It's hard to find, but I got it right here. and we could go through it, and it's gonna tell everything.
Yeah, but the debt, y'all describing debt as a bad thing when it's not. We converted ourselves over to debt, and we converted our money over to the world's money after the World War, and we leveraged that money and borrowed against it. That's why they use it for every single thing in the world, for all your commodities, your oil, your wheat, your corn, everything is traded off the dollar, and we borrow against it just as you do the equity in your house. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, and they can do that and leverage it just because they got that IRS tax money flowing in the coffers every year. So that's why they can do that. They're going to continue to keep doing it.
But out of 9/11, what was the profits? I think 9/11 set a lot of things back.
You didn't let him get to the profits. The profits was the insurance that was put on the building. Go look, you see that he put insurance, the owner up the insurance on the building. That's the profit. Come on, Reggie. The profit is they supposed to
You don't know what you're talking about. That dude does not own the damn World Trade Center.
Man, man, I'm going on mute, bro. I'm speaking.
Yeah, go on mute because you don't know what you're talking about.
Intelligence, and it's the intelligence too, Reg. It's the intelligence factor. Remember, they came after that with that strong intelligence bill where they was able to farm out all your information. That came from 9/11. They had full range to go and get all the information they wanted in the United States of America with free range with them FISA courts. That came from that. That's profit. The information that they can trade and sell.
It weakened what the standards of you being free stood for. It changed all that shit.
FISA courts, right? The FISA courts where they can go get a warrant and you don't even know that they have a warrant and go in your house and leave and you don't know nothing about it. It all happened after 9/11 to get information.
So you don't believe, Reggie? You think that nobody profited from them buildings falling down, and you don't believe no singular person owned that building?
All that did is insure that dude. That dude probably got his money back. He doesn't own that building. That's how I know you don't know what you're talking about.
Who don't own the building?
The guy who you're talking about, the
who owned the building?
That land is owned by
who owned it? Who owned it?
The Port Authority. And y'all didn't know that because y'all caught in conspiracy.
No, they don't. You talking about now?
No, the Port Authority is always on. The Port Authority is always on all that shit down there.
Can you prove to him who was the owner of the World Trade Center?
Yeah, that's
the time that went down.
Type it up. That guy who you're talking about signed a 50-year lease to the fucking rights of the towers. The towers.
All right, then.
All that he doesn't own it. The buildings.
Okay, so if he don't own it, if the buildings come down, who get paid?
But 2 weeks prior is when
he'll get the money he's liable for, bro.
Hold on, he trying to teach you something. Your teacher talking. Go ahead.
No, that's your teacher. He's a white man out of Texas who teaches you.
He teaches.
Look, this is a fact. 2 weeks prior to the buildings being attacked, all right, was the first time ever that there was an insurance policy taken out that had provisions for terrorist attacks. The first time ever. 2 weeks prior. Now that's awfully convenient. I'm just saying. That's a fact.
But it's like the California government draining them dams. Yeah, it's like the California government draining them dams, talking about he looking out for the environment. Same crap, same game. You see that interview? I guess Reggie ain't see that interview where the man standing up there talking about he draining the dams because it's gonna hurt the environment. Drain the dams in California in those areas. On video saying he doing it. The reason why he doing it.
Well, he had them deconstruct the dams, and that's why they're going into a bunch of the power outages and stuff too, because some of those dams were hydroelectric dams.
California got to be one of the stupidest states ever, man. I never let that. Them people are retarded over
there. The blue state.
It's all constructed for a purpose. It's all constructed for a purpose. But hey,
they were getting their water from Nevada. They so dumb. They getting their water from Nevada. They got to go farm their water out from Nevada to get water to California. That's how dumb they is.
You
they right down those.
When you follow the money trail, you'll see who all's in bed with each other, you know, and who's scratching who's back. But I
was correct in saying that the insurance that somebody profited from the World Trade Center collapsing. Was I correct in saying that?
Yeah.
Thank you, Tex. Thank you.
Let me check Brandon on something because you don't know shit. Can you pull up my screen real quick?
Yeah. All right, I'm trying to. Hold on. Hold on. Exit full screen. All right, and then
what do that say? Read it. It's your screen. Read the shit.
It's definitely my screen. So you see who the bid was put up for. Who puts out the bid? The owners, right? Who was the owner?
Who profited? That's not what I said.
Brandon, you
I
talking
said
about
somebody profited from that building going down. That's the point that I was making. I don't give a shit who owned it.
A nigga owner and this and that. Like, stop.
Bro, man.
Hey,
once
look
again,
what that name is. Look what that name is.
Thank you, fool. Small hats.
What does that mean? No, that small hat.
It means you're a fool. That's what it means.
Brandon, that means you gotta hate for the motherfuckers is all it means.
No. I didn't.
And the fact that I proved you wrong, bro.
You didn't prove me. Bro, what did you prove, Reggie?
Bro, you talking about somebody owning the building? This other nigga.
Said somebody profited from those buildings going down.
I know, and just like I know boxing, talking about Larry Silverstein owned it. You don't. I know boxing. This is how I know when I'm talking to fucking peons. Y'all know
I said somebody profited from those buildings going down.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
If you're insuring the building, you're fucking gonna recover your money. That's what these smart ass.
Okay, but the thing about it,
New York business people do.
Oh my God, this dude!
You complain about them being Jewish. They understand the system.
I didn't say nothing about that. I didn't say nothing about that. You said that.
With them being Jewish, homie.
Of course not. That's because those of us that choose to walk in the darkness, and those of us who are learned. I'm what you would call a learned man. Get you something.
But you wrong again, Reg. Silverstein had a lease bid. That's what he had. He had a bid to lease purchase the World Trade Center in 2001. So you partially you halfway read that.
Totally wrong, and you're wrong for
that. The dummy.
He doesn't own nothing. That's a 50-year lease.
No, that's not what it says. Reg. It says no. It's a bid to lease. It's a Silverstein made a bid to lease purchase of the World Trade Center. That's what he had, a bid to lease. That's exactly what he had.
Hey, it's just like owner financing.
Yeah,
you know,
he won a bid to lease. No, it's never a checkmate. The Port Authority is going to own that. No, the Port Authority is going to own that, just like they own much of the property around. Just like they own much of the property around the lower end of Manhattan.
Do you know what a bid to lease is? Do you know what a bid to lease? Look up what bid to lease is for those who don't know. Look up.
You explain it since you know it.
Checkmate is cool.
Now y'all be wanting to checkmate, but you can't checkmate Reg. Let's go, Pittsburgh T. What do you mean,
bro? A bid to lease is almost like a what would that be equivalent to when you rent a house?
Guess it.
Like no, it's not a guess. I'm trying to make it what people understand because you clearly don't know what it is. It'd be equivalent to you rent
definition, and let's see how right you are. I got it. I'm gonna pull it on the screen. Can I read it? Can I read it?
Yeah, it'd be just like you rent to own. Like you rent your house to a landlord, and eventually portions of that goes toward you actually owning the building. That's what a bid to lease is. It's not a regular lease agreement.
But hey, can I bring this up real quick? This is going to answer a lot of questions right here. This silent weapons for quiet wars. Look, can I bring that up?
Go ahead.
And I'm gonna get right to it. So I'm gonna go through all of this real quick.
Oh, and one other thing too, let me add this too, Tex, before you get on that. You also own complete control of that building, meaning you can rent it out, you can do whatever you want. There's nobody stopping you doing whatever you want.
That's
the other part of that.
Negative, Brandon. Y'all wrong.
Pittsburgh just proved that we was correct.
What part of that did I say was wrong? You can do whatever you want to the building.
Get quiet. That's what you do.
When the Port Authority leased it to him, he was going to be managing, running the different.
No, not managing. No.
And best believe the Port Authority is going to get their cut. The Port Authority is going to
tell him nothing. You can't tell him nothing because he don't understand. You don't understand.
You're not getting into managing this building. That guy's going to do it. He's a business guy.
No, he was not manager. Stop. You're using the wrong word. Stop saying manager.
He's going to operate the building. All right.
Stop saying operate.
Brandon, he doesn't own the motherfucker. Well, I guess he's going to be like the owner of it.
Finally, thank you, victory.
Brandy, you give off vibes of being a dropout, homie. Like God,
That's
man.
okay. I got my GED though, bro. It don't matter. As long as I got my GED, I'm with you.
So hey, let me ask you. So check it out. I'm gonna go through this document, and I'm not gonna go. I mean, I'm gonna go through some highlights of where things are to kind of break things down. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but I think that y'all should take screenshots of this document every time I go to another page, because this breaks down exactly who's behind what and how and it's their play-by-play instruction manual on how to create the one world government. All right, silent weapons for quiet wars. It was found in a copy machine, government copy machine that was sold at wholesale or whatever, and they talk about it in the preface and the forward, you know. Anyways, so it was soon recognized by those in position of power that the same methods might be useful for totally controlling society, but better tools were necessary. Social engineering. They had to wait on technology to come up. And I mean, who's it talking about? With these three inventions under their direction, those in position of power strongly suspected that it was possible for them to control the whole world with the push of a button. Immediately, the Rockefeller Foundation got in on the ground floor by making a 4-year grant to the Harvard College, funding the Harvard Economic Research Project for the study of the structure of the American economy. 1 year later, in 1949, the United States Air Force joined in. Moving forward, the political introduction in 1954 was well recognized by those in positions of authority that it was only a matter of time, only a few decades, before the general public, look up the definition of that word, would be able to grasp that, because it don't mean the public, would be able to grasp and upset the cradle of power, for the very elements of the new silent weapon technology were as accessible for a public utopia as they were for providing a private utopia. There we go, public and private again. The issue of primary concern, that of dominance, revolved around the subject of the energy sciences. Consequently, in the interest of a future world order, peace and tranquility, it was decided to privately wage a quiet war against the American public with the ultimate objective of permanently shifting the natural and social energy or wealth of the undisciplined and irresponsible many into the hands of the self-disciplined, responsible, and worthy few. In order to implement this objective, it was necessary to create, secure, and apply new weapons, which, as it turned out, were a class of weapons so subtle and sophisticated in their principle of operation and public appearance as to earn for themselves the name silent weapons. Everything that's expected from an ordinary weapon is expected from a silent weapon by its creators. It shoots situations instead of bullets, propelled by data processing instead of chemical reaction, originating from bits of data instead of grains of gunpowder, from a computer instead of a gun, operated by a computer programmer instead of a marksman, under the orders of a banking magnate instead of a military general. So, theoretical introduction. Give me control over a nation's currency, and I care not who makes its laws. Mayor Amschel Rothschild. It goes through freaking energy discovery, and that's why you've got stuff called currency, right? Currency, like a current, like an electrical current. That's what moves everything. That's why you've got it's crazy the way things are worded and the verbiage that they use, and then looking up legal terminology. So apparent capital as paper inductor. In this structure, credit, presented as a pure element called currency, has the appearance of capital, but is in effect negative capital. Hence, it has the appearance of service, but is in fact indebtedness or debt. It is therefore an economic inductance instead of an economic capacitance, and is balanced in no other way. will be balanced by the negation of population, war, or genocide. The total goods and services represent real capital called the gross national product, and currency may be printed up this level and still represent economic capacitance, but currency printed beyond this level is subtractive, represents the introduction of economic inductance, and constitutes notes of indebtedness. War is therefore the balancing of the system by killing the true creditors, the public, which we have taught to exchange true value for inflated currency, and falling back on whatever is left of the resources of nature and regeneration of those resources. Mr. Rothschild had discovered that currency gave him the power to rearrange the economic structure to his own advantage, to shift economic inductance to those economic positions which would encourage the greatest economic instability and oscillation. So, the industrial classes. Industries fall into three categories or classes by type of output: capital, which is resources or money, goods, commodities or use, dissipative, and services, action of population. And industries exist at three levels: nature, sources of energy and raw materials; government, printing of currency equal to the gross national product; and extension of currency in excess of gross national product; and banking, loan of money for interest and extension; inflation and counterfeiting of economic value through the deposit loan accounts. Industries exist as producers of tangible or consumer dissipated products. This sort of activity is usually recognized and labeled by the public as industry. Industries are those which have service rather than tangible product as their output. These industries are called households and governments. Their output is human activity of a mechanical sort, and their basis is population. Okay. So
No, I'm gonna come right back. Keep going. Let me just run him real quick.
I got you. So foresight flow is the result of that property of living entities to cause energy, food to be stored for a period of low energy. It consists of demands made upon an economic system for that period of low energy. In a production industry, it takes several forms. Present flow ideally involves no delays. It is, so to speak, input today for output today, a hand-to-mouth flow. In electronic symbology, this specific industry demand a pure us industry is represented by conductance, which is then a simple economic valve. Other large alternatives to wars as economic inductors of economic flywheels are an open-ended social welfare program or an enormous but fruitful open-ended space program. The problem with stabilizing the economic system is that there is too much demand on account of too much greed and too much population. This creates excessive economic inductance, which can only be balanced with economic capacitance. Social welfare program is nothing more than open-ended credit balance system, which creates a false capital industry to give non-productive people roof over their heads and food in their stomachs. This can be useful, however, because the recipients become state property in return for the gift. I'm telling you, anybody who takes benefits or privileges from the government becomes a slave, becomes state property. A standing army for the elite. For he who pays the piper picks the tune. Since most of the general public will not exercise restraint, there are only two alternatives to reduce the economic inductance of the system. Let the populace bludgeon each other to death in war, which will only result in a total destruction of the living earth. Take control of the world by the use of economic silent weapons in a form of quiet warfare. Reduce the economic inductance of a world to a safe level by a process of benevolent slavery and genocide. Economic shock testing. The application of operations and research to the study of the public economy has been obvious for anyone who understands the principles of shock testing. Economic engineers achieve the same result in the study of behavior of the economy and the consumer public by carefully selecting a staple commodity such as beef, coffee, gasoline, or sugar, and then causing a sudden change or shock in its price or availability, thus kicking everybody's budget and buying habits out of shape. They then observe the shock waves, which result by monitoring the changes in advertising, prices, and sales, and that of other commodities. The objective of such studies is to acquire the know-how to set the public economy into a predictable state of motion or change, even a controlled self-destructive state of motion, which will convince the public that certain expert people should take control of the money system and reestablish security rather than liberty and justice for all. When the subject citizens are rendered unable to control their financial affairs, they, of course, become totally enslaved, a source of cheap labor. Theory of economic shock testing. Let me back up one. Personal paper trail. Personal buying habits, checking accounts, credit card purchases, tag credit card purchases, universal product codes, assets, checking accounts, savings accounts, real estate, business, automobile, safety deposit, bank, stock market, liabilities, creditors, enemies. See legal. Legal definition of the word enemy. It's going to have one of them is going to be citizen, lowercase c. Loans, government sources, welfare, Social Security, USDA, surplus food, doles, grants, and subsidies. Principle of this ploy, the citizen will almost always make the collection of information easy if he can operate on the free sandwich principle of eat now and pay later. Government patterns of intimidation, Internal Revenue Service, OSHA, Census, etc. Other government sources, surveillance of U.S. mail. Programming, strengths and weaknesses, activities, fear, anger, or criminal record. See legal, hospital records, psychiatric records, suggestibility or hypnosis, pain, pleasure, love, and sex. Methods of coping, consumption of alcohol, drugs, entertainment, religious factors, other methods of escaping from reality. So what they're saying is everybody is under scrutiny, and everything is known about everybody by the government. Outputs create control situations, manipulation of economy, hence society controlled by control of compensation and income. Sequence allocates opportunity, destroys opportunities, controls the economic environment, controls the availability of raw materials, controls capital, controls bank rates, controls the inflation of the currency, controls the possession of property, controls industrial capacity, controls manufacturing, controls the availability of goods, controls the prices of commodities, controls services, controls payment to government officials, controls legal functions, controls personal data files, uncorrectable by the party slandered. In other words, if you're charged with something, that goes on your permanent record forever, all right, and doesn't come off. I couldn't get a teaching position because of it one time. Controls advertising, media contact, controls surveillance, controls the storage of information, develops psychological analysis of profiles of individuals, leeches wealth and substance. All right, table of strategies. Do this, keep the public ignorant. To get this, less public organization. Maintain access to control point for feedback. Required reaction to outputs. create preoccupation to lower people's defense, attack the family unit, control the education of the young, give less cash and more credit and doles, more self-indulgence and more data, attack the privacy of the church, destroy faith in this sort of government, social conformity, computer programming simplicity, minimize the tax protests, maximum economic data, minimum enforcement problems. Stabilize the consent to get simplicity coefficients, tighten control of variables for simpler computer input data and greater predictability, establish boundary conditions to get problem simplicity solutions of differential and difference equations, create proper timing. There's less data shift and blurring, maximize control, minimum resistance control, collapse of currency, destroy the faith of the American people in each other. Here we go. Diversion, the primary strategy, all right, to control people, keep them disorganized and distracted, disengaging their minds, sabotaging their mental activities, providing a low-quality program of public education and mathematics, logic, systems design, and economics, and discouraging technical creativity. By engaging their emotions, increasing their self-indulgence and their indulgence in emotional and physical activities by unrelenting emotional affrontations and attacks, mental and emotional rape by way of constant barrage of sex, violence, and wars in the media, especially the TV and newspapers, giving them what they desire in excess, junk food for thought, and depriving them of what they really need, rewriting history and law and subjecting the public to the deviant creation, thus being able to shift their thinking from personal needs to highly fabricated outside priorities. These preclude the interest in and discovery of the silent weapons of social automation technology. Using the media, keep the adult public attention diverted away from the real social issues and captivated by matters of no real importance. Schools, keep the young public ignorant of real mathematics, real economics, real law, and real history. I'm trying to give y'all real law right now. Entertainment, keep the public entertained below a 6th grade level. Work, keep the public busy with no time to think. Back on the farm with the other animals. Consent, the primary victory. It is essential to recognize that at this time, public consent is still an essential key to the release of energy in the process of economic amplification. Therefore, consent as an energy release mechanism will now be considered. I'm telling you, the people are only governed by consent. If you do not consent, they have no power over you. People need to realize their own power. From the time a person leaves his mother's womb, every effort is directed towards building, maintaining, withdrawing into artificial wombs, various sorts of substitute protective devices or shells. The primary reason why the individual citizens of a country create a political structure is a subconscious wish or desire to perpetuate their own dependency relationship of childhood. Simply put, they want a human God to eliminate all risk from their life. Pat them on the head, kiss their bruises, put a chicken on every dinner table, clothe their bodies, tuck them into bed at night, and tell them that everything will be all right when they wake up in the morning. This public demand is incredible. So the human God, the politician, meets incredibility with incredibility by promising the world and delivering nothing. So who is the bigger liar, the public or the Godfather? This public behavior is surrender born of fear, laziness, and expediency. It is the basis of the welfare state as a strategic weapon useful against a disgusting public. People hire or vote for politicians so the people can obtain security without managing it, obtain action without thinking about it, inflict theft, injury, and death upon others without having to contemplate either life or death, avoid responsibility for their own intentions, obtain the benefits of reality and science without exerting themselves in the discipline of facing or learning either of these things. They give the politicians the power to create and manage a war machine, provide for the survival of the nation, prevent encroachment of anything upon their nation, destroy the enemy who threatens the nation, destroy those citizens of their own country who do not conform for the sake of stability of the nation. They talk about the value of silver and gold. The silver value is stable, it being possible to buy the same amount with a gram of silver today as it could be bought in 1920. Human value measured in silver units changes slightly due to changes in production technology. Enforcement. Stability is achieved by understanding and accounting for human nature. As in other human social schemes, one form or another of intimidation is essential to the success of the draft. To secure the draft, individual brainwashing programming of both the family unit and the peer group must be engaged and brought under control. Factor 2, father. The man of the household must be housebroken to ensure that Junior will grow up with the right social training and attitudes. The advertising media, etc., are engaged to see to it that the father-to-be is pussy whipped before or by the time he's married. He's taught that he either conforms to the social notch cut out for him, or his sex life will be hobbled and his tender companionship will be zero. He is made to see that women demand security more than logical, principled, or honorable behavior. By the time his son must go to war, the father, with jelly for a backbone, will slam a gun into Junior's hand before father will risk the censure of his peers to make a hypocrite of himself by crossing the investment he has in his own personal opinion or self-esteem. Junior will go to war or father will be embarrassed. So Junior will go to war, the true purpose notwithstanding. Mother. The female element of human society is ruled by emotion first and logic second. In the battle between logic and imagination, imagination always wins. Fantasy prevails. Maternal instinct dominates so that the child comes first and the future comes second. A woman with a newborn baby is too starry-eyed to see a wealthy man's cannon fodder or a cheap source of slave labor. A woman must, however, be conditioned to accept the transition to reality when it comes or sooner. As the transition becomes more difficult to manage, the family unit must be carefully disintegrated. Its state control, publicly educated, and state-operated child care centers must become more common and legally enforced so as to begin the detachment of the child from the mother and father at an earlier age. Inoculation of behavioral drugs, Ritalin, can speed the transition for the child. Mandatory. Caution. A woman's impulsive anger can override her fear. An irate woman's power must never be underestimated, and her power over a pussy whip husband must likewise never be underestimated. It got women to vote in 1920. Junior. The emotional pressure for self-preservation during the time of war and the self-serving attitude of the common herd that have an option to avoid the battlefield. If Junior can be persuaded to go, is all of the pressure finally necessary to propel Johnny off to war? The quiet blackmailings of him are the threats. No sacrifice, no friends, no glory, no girlfriends. Sister. What about Junior's sister? She's given all the good things of life by her father and taught to expect the same from her future husband regardless of the price. Cattle. Those who will not use their brains are no better off than those who have no brains, and so this mindless school of jellyfish, father, mother, son, and daughter, become useful beasts of burden or trainers of the same. This concludes what is available in this document. And here's other resources that expose the implementation of silent weapons assault. The Hold a Pale Horse, William Cooper, I've talked about it. The True Story of the Bilderberg Group, I've got it. The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America, BBC documentary, The Track. The Great American Adventure, Secrets of America by Judge Dale. Hey, look, Judge Dale is a fucking hero. This sumbitch was a judge, and he's come out and he has written a lot of documents that expose the fraud. When he retired, he couldn't sit idly by. Here's a quote from John F. Kennedy: "For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence. on infiltration instead of invasion, and on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system that has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. JFK. The individual is handicapped by coming face to face with a conspiracy so monstrous he cannot believe it exists. I just said that. The American mind simply has not come to a realization of the evil which has been introduced into our midst. It rejects even the assumption that human creatures could espouse a philosophy which must ultimately destroy all that is good and decent. J. Edgar Hoover, 1956. Who all still with me? Picasso, the only one on? Well, shit. All right, so that document right there, Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. All right, it's part of the Zionist Manifesto, and I mean that outlines everything that's going on. Putting dumb shit, making dumb shit fucking popular culture. Having all these damn movie stars and all that bullshit, the Hollywood bunch, making them elitists and raising them up, and then incorporating them into their governmental schemes, and having them preach to the public about fucking politics and shit, which they know fucking absolutely nothing about, but they damn sure fucking take a paycheck. Under George Bush II, after the inquiries into 9/11, there was a bill that was introduced into the Senate, and it was kind of later on in his presidency, and it was signed into law during the Barack Obama presidency, that there will be no legal ramifications for government, if government is to be found spreading propaganda. I don't remember the bill number and what the public law was when it was passed into law, but I mean, it's shameful. All of it is shameful. It's embarrassing. The fraud is so expansive. You know, all this little bullshit that goes on. Fuck you. You know, well, I'm a Democrat. I'm on the left, and I'm a Republican. I'm on the right. I'm a conservative. All this fucking shit. You know, hey, that's two wings of the same dirty fucking animal. You know what I mean? You got to step outside that fucking shit to see it. Hey, look, fucking granddaddy was a big conservative, so I was a Republican until I could step outside, until I gained the wherewithal and the fucking wisdom to say, wait a minute, fucking, you know, no, that's not fucking right. Let me step back. Let me take a fucking look at the broader picture instead of focusing on something that's minuscule. Because the reality of the situation is, and now the only thing I can say about Trump is a bunch of motherfuckers hate him on both sides. And when you're looking at politics, if everybody fucking hates a motherfucker, just like Ron Paul, if everybody hates that some bitch, that's probably the some bitch you ought to go with, because he's disrupting the fucking establishment. I'm not fucking saying fucking I'm for Trump or whatever. I maintain fucking a far distance from fucking politics, and maintain myself in law, right, under natural law, and which common law is based upon natural law. What I will say is I've been seeing all this shit from Elon Musk. Now let me tell you something about Elon Musk. Hey, this dude cracks me up, because everybody's hating on him from the fucking UK all the way over here, saying, oh, he's disrupting our political climate because I guess he's got the Twitter or whatever. He bought Twitter. And so by virtue of him just making his little statements and his little one-liners on Twitter, he's disrupted the political climate. And then every time you see him, he kind of got a little half smile on his face, and he's cutting a little dance. And it cracks me up. He's like a trickster. It's like Hermes Trismegistus reborn. Now, Hermes Trismegistus, if you know, you know. You have to read the Kabbalion and start understanding, to obtain an understanding of natural law and the principles governing natural law and universal principles. But so the reality of the situation is between left and right, as far as I could tell, from standing way back and looking at the big picture. The only thing that makes any fucking difference to us is that one side wants a little bit higher taxes and the other one wants a little bit lower taxes. And that is really the only thing that fucking concerns the vast majority of people day to day. That's it. All the rest of the shit is fucking smoke and mirrors. I mean, it ain't, but when people are focused on, what this motherfucker wants to have the damn, cut his dick off and turn into a woman, and all this shit, that's all fucking government sponsored shit right there. Identity politics or whatever, because, look, fucking the only group that has rights is the people. That is it. The people have rights. The people are defined as a man or a woman. So if you get somebody to define themselves as a fucking cat or a cisgender fucking goddamn turkey leg or whatever the fuck, they'll never claim that they're a man or a woman. If they can't fucking make a claim that they are a man or a woman, or they cannot identify their status and standing as a man or a woman as one of the people, they don't have fucking rights and they're fucking ignored. And that's it. And I mean, there's all kind of shit on both sides. They get everybody to focus on stuff that doesn't matter. We're all people. When you start focusing on things like sexual orientation, gender, race, religion, fucking all that shit fucking, it makes us feel a certain way. And so we react emotionally instead of fucking logically. And I understand that some topics can incite an emotional response, especially if you feel strongly about something or have very strong views upon it. Okay, great. But you got to be able to control your emotions and have a logical discussion about it. The government is made up of the people. The people created the government. And in law, which one creates, one controls. So why in the ever-living fuck would we allow the government to control our fucking lives? If everybody stood up one time, it flipped the fucking table over. But everybody needs to educate themselves. In our pockets, we carry around this fucking device or something similar to it. And on that son of a bitch, though it's been whitewashed a lot, don't get me wrong, it's still out there. The information from the beginning of time until now fucking exists. You just got to look for the fucking important shit a little harder. I don't need somebody to tell me. If somebody from the government says fucking they're here to help, bull fucking shit you are. Oh, you're gonna tell me what's no. Since we got this device that has all this information on it, why are people using it to argue with strangers and look at fucking pictures of cats? Because we've been fucking programmed. We've been fucking indoctrinated. We're given 24-hour fucking day entertainment. Fuck that. Turn the fucking TV off. You know, open a book, get on the fucking internet and start fucking researching. When shit don't fucking add up, and when fucking people are set to either make or lose a bunch of fucking money, that's the fucking culprits. The banks want to run the world. The bankers are of a certain group of people. You can't go out there and say fucking all those people are fucking bad, because they're not. But you got to pay attention to where they're at. I'm not trying to go on no fucking hate speech about a group of people. Far be it from me to fucking do that. What I'm saying is, those individuals are involved in the banking industry, and the banking industry runs fucking everything. When you look at the wars, when you look at the wars that have been fought, when you look at the fucking sovereign nations that have been invaded, Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, Sudan, etc., etc. There's always one common denominator. That common denominator is they didn't have a fucking central bank. That their currency was backed by gold or some other valuable commodity. That they did not operate in debt. The value of the Iraqi dinar was somewhere around, when the invasion happened, it was somewhere between $11 and $15 to one Iraqi dinar. That's right. We do have the power. You're a fucking man, or you're a woman. You're one of the people. You have the power. It's right there in the Constitution. A man's ability to contract will be unlimited, as well as his credit. A man, one of the people. That's why the money is backed by the full faith and credit of the American people, not the American citizen. You got to understand legal definitions. Once you realize who you are, you got to know who you are. And how much power is inherent in the people. And that people are only governed by consent. Because contract law is the highest law outside of constitutional law. It's the only thing higher. That's why the government is constantly wanting you to sign something. Wanting you to provide your social security number for something. All these other motherfuckers, providing their social security number, man, quit using the social security number. It says, well, it used to say it right on, but it says it on my ID card, but I'm an old motherfucker now. On my social security card, it says shall not be used for identification purposes. So why are we giving it out for identification purposes? These corporate entities are utilizing it as a fucking security to fucking rape the goddamn trust, create fucking new currencies, and it's adding to the fucking national debt. Create currency of a new issue. And the debt lies back on you. The fraud is extensive. I was telling Reg earlier, I said, hey, and so I want to see how much interest it generates through this little podcast. I've got a bunch of publications that go in depth. Apparently TikTok just got banned. Fantastic. More censorship. But these publications, the UCC Connection, the Common Law Handbook, Traveling by Right. I have a bunch of others. I got a stack of these books. Everything is fake. I can get y'all copies of this book, you know, for a pretty freaking low price. I just want to know if there's any interest in receiving these publications. You know, I can get them to you at my cost. I don't care. I think everybody needs them and everybody should read them because it sheds a whole lot of light on this shit. Toilets at airports have motion detectors that scan penile information from men. What? I'm not going to say it's untrue because fucking all this shit's crazy. Yes, you're owned by a foreign government. You want to know where your birth certificate is stored? Fucking where that bond is stored? You better check right over at fucking Vatican City. The Illuminati books, I don't know of any particular Illuminati books, but I have researched that to some extent. These secret societies, they're the keepers of knowledge, right? And the Illuminati, though I am of the opinion, and I definitely believe that they are malicious in their intent. But a lot of these secret societies are keepers of what would be considered occult information or hidden knowledge. But that knowledge is certainly out there. The Kabbalion. Read the Kabbalion. Understanding universal principles, natural law. The 48 rules of power is based upon natural law and universal principles. You want to talk about the New World Order? You know, let's talk about the document that Joe Biden signed as soon as he got into his fucking president. First fucking thing he did, as far as I'm aware, was sign the World Health Treaty, which is a continuation of Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030. But it puts the World Health Organization as the pinnacle of world government. The United Nations will be the world government enforcement group with America as the tip of the fucking spear. Somebody was asking about Ukraine and Russia before and how it plays out. Look, I have no idea. I guess they're working on some kind of treaty or something. But look, I don't see nothing wrong with Vladimir Putin. When Ukraine wanted their independence, Russia gave it to them. So okay, here you're an independent state now. The only stipulation that there was that you can't become a member of NATO. But they were talking about joining NATO, joining the UN. That was the only stipulation, and it's completely understandable. When Donald Trump first got his first presidency, one of the things he said was, why the hell does NATO still exist? And when I heard that, I thought, this guy's a fucking idiot. What do you mean, why does NATO exist? Until I thought about it. Why? What is NATO? What was NATO formed for? NATO was formed to keep Russia from invading West Germany. There ain't been a West Germany since the fucking 80s. Why is there a fucking NATO? Are we still worried Russia's going to invade fucking Germany? Come on. And Russia is completely surrounded by NATO countries, except for Ukraine. Ukraine is the only non-fucking NATO, non-United Nations fucking country that surrounds Russia. And this is what happened. Russia kicked the central banks out of fucking Russia, or Putin kicked the central banks out of Russia. The very next thing that happened was NATO is fucking courting fucking Ukraine, saying, hey, join us. Coincidence? I don't believe in it. I don't believe in that fucking shit. Ukraine had all of these neo-Nazi type military factions that were quasi-governmental, I guess. Zionists are German Jews. Is that a coincidence? China doesn't have no centralized banking. And when the ruble and the yen are backed by gold, the only lawful money in the world is silver and gold. That's it. That's the only lawful money. I'm not talking about currency. I'm not talking about legal tender. The only way to actually own property is constitutionally is to purchase it with either silver or gold. No, Russia doesn't have centralized banking. Putin kicked the central bank out of Russia. Told him to go fucking kick rocks. The ruble is now backed by gold. Good deal, Picasso. Keep reading. So, anyways, Anybody else want to jump on here real quick before I call it a night? Want to have a discussion or talk some shit or something? Reggie? All right. Well, I'm going to take off. Hey, look. Reading. Joseph Westberg's The Merchant Bankers. If you could, as a matter of fact, you could look online. Hey, Pittsburgh T, you back on?
Hey, real quick, Tex. When somebody get a chance, man, look up how many bases are around the Pentagon. I know Reggie was talking on. We was talking on the point of just that Marine Corps base, but if you look at how many bases are around, there ain't no way they have no planes scrambled. It's literally impossible. They have no planes in the air that were armed. It's impossible. There's tons of bases there. So that whole 9/11 stuff, it is what it is, man. People believe what they want to believe, but they can't fool everybody with that foolishness. Hey, good talking to you, Tex, man.
Yeah, and also Pittsburgh T. I want to make one more point about the Pentagon. It has the most surveillance of any other place in the world. Second only to, it's the only place that has less surveillance than the Pentagon is the Federal Reserve banks. Third is every Walmart store. So when they say, "Oh well, we only got this one video of something crashing in," come on, bullshit.
Not only that, they've had devices. They've had them for years where they can scramble planes and completely take them over. So that ain't even a fact, but just the fact that they have military. They got so many bases there. They got the Marine Corps barracks there. They got some. Just look up the Pentagon. Look how many bases are there. Not to mention the off-book places that they got there. It's literally impossible for them not to have nothing to take that out. That's just craziness. Somebody had to say something. It's literally impossible. There's no way. That ain't even hard to disprove. All you gotta do is pull up a map and look it up. Hey, appreciate your text, man. Everybody have a great weekend.
Y'all do the same. Thank you, sir. All right. Reading. So Joseph Westberg, The Merchant Bankers. If you go to a site called Internet Archive, it's got a whole lot of documents that you could go down some motherfucking rabbit holes. Unredacted documents that have not been placed in the public and all kind of stuff. If you go there, you look up the UCC Connection by Howard Freeman. As a matter of fact, hell, you don't need to buy nothing from me. That's got all these documents and all these publications on it, and you could download them for free. Download your state's constitution, not your state of constitution. Right? You want to look up like the Texas Constitution or the Republic of Texas Constitution, not the state of Texas Constitution. It's not the same. The Constitution of the United States is not the same as the Constitution for the United States of America. It is not the same. You're going to be lacking all your articles. And you got to have them articles if you're going to learn this shit. And learn what's really in there. And learn who you fucking are. Anyhow, I'm out. I'm sure I'll be seeing y'all pretty quick within a week or so. Y'all have a good evening and good rest of your weekend. Adios.